Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Hello. Oh, so I'm going to wait to see how many people get in here because, I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say. I got a lot I need to get off my chest. I blocked a girl probably like 30 minutes ago because she wanted to get up in the comments talking about Black women can never be on code. Listen, I'm going to tell you this now. Code does not exist. Let it go. Please focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. Because it's when you start getting success, them same girls that were quote unquote on code with you all of a sudden start to envy you. They become jealous of you, and then they secretly want to compete with you. Sis, let it go. You need to grow up. And you'll quickly find out. Once you start to level up, you gain an ounce of success. People start pocket watching you. Women, you get a handbag, maybe some shoes, I don't know. And then they secretly start to compete with you. You're going to stop walking around, or you're going to stop screaming from the mountaintops about a code. A code does not exist for 3 reasons. Penis, that's number 1. Number 2, insecurities. Number 3, ego. That is why code does not exist. So let it go. Okay? Worry about yourself. If you want to do something, connect with your soul tribe. Okay? Stop trying to get everybody on board with your program. No one cares. They don't want to be on your program. So let it go. I just got to get that off my chest. Like, I'm tired of seeing that. I'm like, do you really think everybody wants to be on your program, your code, your way of doing things? They don't. Just connect with women that do and keep it at that and keep it moving. You're going to stress yourself out. So please like the live. Let me go ahead and get into this. Let me go ahead and get into this intro. And I also want to say this. Everyone wants to talk about Black women being on code, but y'all wasn't on code when it came to Lauren. Where was the code at when Lauren had her situation? I came on here and I was saying she ain't no sugar baby. Where was the code then? But because she was out here dealing with a white man, no one wanted to have her back. Where was the Black sisterhood code then? There wasn't no sisterhood code. Y'all abandoned her because you ran with what the media was trying to push, which was a lie, which I'll get into, which was a lie, but you allowed the media to run with that because of why? Because of penis. You cared so deeply about what Black men would say and do and how they would react. And you didn't have that girl's back. Don't tell me about no code. Don't tell me about no code, because I'm going to get upset. Code does not exist. So let it go. Y'all wasn't doing that behind this Lauren Smithfield situation. So it's like, it doesn't even make sense. It don't hold no weight over here. And then we can also get into the Black women's empowerment space and how it's so divided on YouTube. I can't even work with other Black women within this space because there are people out here that want to put us up against each other. If I start to openly and publicly show love and support for another Black woman on this platform, I know that I'm going to be put in drama. So I stay out the way. I stay far and clear out the way because I know that alleviates any drama that could possibly be created by the very people that watch us. So I have to separate myself. I have to stay in my corner for that very reason. I'm not stupid. So sisterhood code, what is that? Can someone please explain to me what that is? Because it does not exist. So the only advice I'm going to give you Focus on yourself, worry about yourself, worry about your kids, worry about your family, worry about your health. Just focus on you as a Black woman. Do what's best for you. I don't know what that looks like. Hopefully, I can influence you in some type of way to figure it out, but focus on yourself. Worry about yourself.
Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss. I haven't done anything for you to be proud of.
Of course you have. You are marrying a man who can support you.
Okay, let me calm down. I did not want to do this live. I'm just be honest with y'all. I didn't want to do the live, and it was because I'm outside. Okay, this is my season to be outside. Spring, summer is time to be outside. This is the perfect time to be out here dating and having a good time and socializing and just living your best life. So I'm gonna do this live because I didn't do it Saturday because I'm like, well, nobody want to see it. Like, nobody want to watch it. Nobody want to talk about this. So I'm going to go outside and enjoy my little weekend. Went and got my nails done Friday, pampered myself a little bit on Friday. I had a little date. And then Saturday, was just relaxing, enjoying my Saturday, just, bumming around a little bit. And then, Sunday I went to brunch, had a little date. I thought we was minding our business, but people wanted me to speak on the situation, which I don't mind because of the Lauren Smithfield situation. And I'm going to be highlighting the double standards in this video. That's the only way I'm going to ever talk about this situation because honestly, I don't care. I don't, because the energy is not reciprocated when it comes to us and Black women, when it comes to things that we face, things that we go through. But so many people want us to somehow just be so open-minded and pour our hearts and emotions and resources into a man that made it known that he did not F with us in that way, in any type of way. So it's like, dang, would this man even care if we were to even step in and do anything about it or do something behind him? I don't think he would. I think he would want his blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl that he puts on a pedestal to go out here and march and protest for him. That's just me keeping it real. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being honest. I don't think he really liked us in that way to where he would even want us to be out here marching, protesting, and fighting for him and his death. I'm just being honest. It is what it is. So I'm going to pull up this slideshow. And once again, Black women, even the ones that are like, well, he's a human being. I'm like, listen, that is true. But if he does not want your help, and he has made that known that he does not want your help, why exhaust yourself in that way? That doesn't even make sense. Why are you trying to be the sacrificial lamb when this man has made it known that he does not want your help? And this is what I talk about on here. It's like sometimes we as Black women, we don't know how to set boundaries with ourselves. If we said that we weren't going to step in and do anything about any of these men where situations like this occur, then that's what we said. And we're going to stick to it. We don't care how much pressure we get from others or people within the community. If we said that that was the boundary that we were setting with ourselves, then that's the boundary that we have. Now, does that mean that we're going to get pushback? Of course, we're going to get pushback. We're going to get pushback from women who look like us, and then we're going to get pushback from the men within our community. But so be it. So be it. If you're out here setting boundaries within your personal life, with your family, with your friends, they're going to be giving you pushback too. So it's like, listen, all these people, they can come and try to get this smoke, but I ain't lifting a finger and I'm not donating none of my money to go towards anything, because at the end of the day, I set that boundary and it stands as such. If you have a problem with it, well, I guess you just have a problem with it. It ain't got nothing to do with me. Somebody want to have their hand stuck out, but then they don't want to respect you in the process. That don't make no sense to me. That don't make no sense to me. So let's go ahead and get into this live. Let me go ahead and start it.
New tonight, a man stabbed to death in a posh apartment building in Edgewater. Police tell us this was the only homicide they've had in this area so far this year.
Yeah, very high-end building here. Let's get straight to CBS 4's Joe Gorcho with what we know so far about the story. Joe.
Elliot, Lauren, we are beginning to learn more details tonight about an alleged murder that took place inside one Parisio. I had a chance to speak with several residents here earlier this evening, and they tell me that they received an email from management about a domestic dispute, but did not provide more information other than that. Now, we have since learned from Miami PD that a stabbing took place here on Sunday night. And speaking with friends that knew the victim, the man killed was 27-year-old Christian Obumseli. He died after being transported by Miami Fire Rescue to JMH Trauma. We did have a chance tonight to speak with several of Obumseli's close friends, and the news, as one can imagine, comes as quite a shock. Obumseli, by all accounts, was caring and had a great spirit. Now, Obumseli's close friends tell me that he recently moved to Miami with his girlfriend to live at one Parisio. We've also been told by Miami PD that one person has been detained concerning the stabbing.
A man working in the growing cryptocurrency industry found dead inside his home, and his girlfriend, an Instagram star, seen covered in blood. Local 10's Alex Finney, live of what she's learned so far. Alex.
And so, Nicole and Louie, we just finished.
I just want to point out this one little part that I saw. In the story, in the beginning, he moved to Miami to live with his girlfriend. So he moved in with her. Did you guys catch that? According to the first news reporter, he moved in with her. And see, I'm gonna get to the point where I feel like Black women should truly sit down on this, because you don't know what their relationship was actually like. You're just going off of the stereotype, right? You're going off the stereotype that this girl is white, he's Black. He clearly was poked, to silence. I'm gonna just say that because you know how YouTube is, right? But we don't know what led up to that point. Okay, we're going off of the stereotype that, oh, she's the villain simply because she's white, but we really don't know that. We don't know. She moved in, or he moved in with her, but then listen, I don't know no well-off tycoon that doesn't have life insurance, y'all. I don't. I have to keep it real with you. There's so many loopholes in who this man actually was. And then there's so many loopholes in their relationship. You got some people saying she's the aggressor. Then you got other people saying, well, neighbors saying, well, he's the aggressor. Well, who's really the aggressor? Now, one thing that we all do know is that sometimes when we get in these relationships with these Black men is that they are aggressive towards us. Because I've definitely been shoved to the ground. I surely have. I've definitely had hands put on me. So for me as a Black woman, knowing that I have been in situations that were violent and aggressive with Black men, for me to jump on this bandwagon that, she's the problem. She's the problem. So does that mean that I'm the problem and I was the problem when it came to men putting their hands on me? Be careful what you're doing out here in these streets. You just want to jump to conclusions. You don't know what went on in that relationship. So it just doesn't make sense for us to just all of a sudden just hop behind this man. We don't know what he was out here doing in their relationship. It just don't make sense to me. But let's continue. And that's just me staying out of it. I'm not saying he's the aggressor, but I'm not automatically making her one either. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna just stay out of it because I don't know what their relationship was like.
Speaking with the family of Christian Obumseli. They just finished speaking with the state attorney's office here and remain confident in this investigation. But we also want to show you now, pivoting just a little bit back to the scene, that video that we actually got from TMZ showing a bloody 25-year-old Courtney, that Instagram star that you just mentioned there, moments after her boyfriend was stabbed to death. Now, police say that Clenny was in fact the one that stabbed 27-year-old Christian Obumseli to death inside their Miami apartment. This is right off of 7th Avenue. He was stabbed in the shoulder and later died at the hospital. Now, it's a really, really interesting story here because you have a lot of different details, a lot of different sides, friends that were close to the couple say that their relationship, it was tumultuous, it was violent. Some say that she was the aggressor and that she suffers from mental illness. Now, a neighbor that we also spoke with this past week says that he was. We know Courtney in this instance, she is claiming self-defense. She actually had to be Baker acted after being brought in for questioning because she was threatening to kill herself. We spoke with the victim's family again just a few moments ago. They tell us that there is just no way that Obumseli put his hands on her. Take a listen.
He was a friend to everyone. Very caring, funny, very bright. He had big dreams.
That's the narrative. I felt threatened. I felt afraid. If they got on handcuffs, they're still a threat because they're Black men.
Black men are not a threat.
Black men portrayed as dangerous has been inside of the fabric of American culture from the beginning.
An emotional family still trying to grasp.
Do y'all see what I'm talking about? Now, I put that clip in there. Y'all know why I put that clip in there. Yes, I did. Okay, the family is saying one thing, of course, but come on, y'all. Come on. Are we for real? This is why Black women need to stay out of it. This is why we need to stay out of it, because we were not there. We were not there. We know that some of these Black men out here are a threat. A lot of them are, because they suffer from mental illness issues. Okay, something wrong up there in their mind. So yes, I mean, that's exactly what they're trying to portray him to be is, oh, he was such a nice guy. Well, he didn't have that. He was nice to everyone. Well, it didn't seem like he liked Black women. And it didn't seem like he was nice to Black women because he made those tweets about us. So it's so interesting. That's why I had to put the Tina Knowles profile, the Black man in there, because the family is trying to make it seem like he was this and he was that. Okay, well, that's how you knew him. But it seems like Courtney saw a different side of him. That's what it seemed like. So you weren't there. And it's just, how can you get on TV and say that? How can Tina Knowles get on TV and say, oh, Black men are not a threat? Sis, statistically, have you looked at the statistics when it comes to Black femicide in America? Come on. This is why we staying out of it. This is why. There's no need in us jumping in and doing anything. We don't know what happened. I'm not saying that he deserved what happened to him. I'm saying we don't know what happened. For someone to aggressively attack you in this way, it has to be provoked. It can, seriously, she didn't do it when he was sleeping. So I just, and then apparently this wasn't even his place of residence. It was hers. So that means he was coming to her place. We don't know. We don't know what happened.
After the death of 27-year-old Christian Obumseli in what's being called a deadly domestic incident. It's a story that's making national headlines. It happened in an expensive Edgewater condo where the units cost millions of dollars.
Loved ones say the man was caring and had a great spirit. CBS 4's Trish Christakis joins us live from Miami with more. Trish?
Yeah, I spoke with Christian Obumseli's family earlier today, and they said he was a kind and soft-spoken man. They said they found out about his death when a medical examiner called them asking if they can donate his organs. Devastation, they say, doesn't come close to what they're feeling tonight.
They flew in from Texas, unfortunately learned of his death when the medical examiner contacted them requesting permission to donate the organs. That's how they learned of his sudden death.
Miami Police Department responded to a domestic violence incident at this apartment complex in Edgewater, where they say 27-year-old Christian Obumseli was stabbed with a knife. He later died at Jackson Memorial Hospital.
All they're looking for is justice. We know the suspect that was involved in this incident has not been arrested. I'm confident, having had a meeting with the state attorney's office, that they were very attentive. They answered all the necessary questions.
Miami PD says there was a woman on the scene with him. The family identified her as his girlfriend, and in their preliminary investigation determined that both Obumseli and the woman had been involved in a physical altercation. Obumseli's brother says he wants to see an arrest.
I do believe she is the killer, and she does need to be arrested.
Police have not made any arrests. CBS 4 News has learned the woman's name. We are choosing not to identify her because this is a domestic violence investigation. The family of Obumseli says he was a kind man and had many life goals and aspirations.
Devastation doesn't quite describe what my family is experiencing right now. Yesterday, we finally told our 93-year-old grandmother that her grandson, who was expected to come home to Texas to visit for his 28th birthday, will no longer or ever be returning home.
And in a statement, the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office says that it will review the police department's evidence. Once this investigation is complete, they will then take appropriate action. Live in Miami, Trish Christakis, CBS 4 News.
Let me blow up these tweets, you guys. So, you know, a lot of Afro-Americans really aren't feeling him. It doesn't matter if you're female or male, and it's because he used this word, which I'm not going to say. If you know, you know. It's slang term for Afro-Americans, and it's what some Africans like to use, Nigerians preferably like to use when speaking negatively or stereotypically regarding Afro-American people. So a lot of Afro-Americans weren't really feeling him for that reason alone, right? But I'm not going to get into that because you guys, that Afro-American versus African conversation, I don't even like talking about it because it's very toxic. So I'm going to leave that to those who want to waste their time on that. But at the end of the day, we're all Black people. That's how I see us. If you didn't learn that, you should have learned that from the Ukraine situation and how they treat Black people all over the world. There's no reason for us to feel like we must divide ourselves among each other. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But there are people out here that have that mindset. So it is what it is. But, you know, I just find it interesting that people expect for us as Black women to use our resources when no one ever comes to our defense. You know, it sucks that we have to use him as an example, but it is what it is. We have to draw the line somewhere. And when it comes to this situation, this sends a very loud message that we're not going for this anymore. If you need help, you need assistance, you need to get Becky, Sarah, Katie, gather them all up and go get out here and protest and march, since Black women mean nothing to you and we offer nothing. Why don't you get these other women out here to help you then? And we gonna sit back and just, you know, mind our business. And it's really that simple. I don't even know why. I don't even know. It's the audacity that they would even think that we should come to their defense. And then how he was out here praising white women like this. So I'm assuming that they're going to have his back. And listen, the family, they can get upset all day, but the family is like, listen, that's your son. You thought you knew him, but maybe you didn't. It's okay. Maybe you didn't know him that well. Because I don't even know why. I don't know if that was his sister, his mother. I'm not sure who that Black woman was where they were talking about his grandmother or whatever like that. But I'm just like, sis, do you not understand how crazy you look right now defending this man and his death? It didn't seem like he cared for you at all. Now, I know she family, but I'm just like, there's no way I could ever get on camera and defend somebody like that. And their character? Clearly, I didn't know them that well. Let's continue, though, because Courtney Tailor.
I'm Courtney Tailor, and I do OF for a living.
OnlyFans. You got like 1 million followers or something?
2 million.
Hold on, just give me a sec. Courtney Tailor went on a podcast, Miami podcast, and she was talking about how she only dates rich Black men, which we know who the real gold diggers are. even though we as Black women get labeled the gold diggers while dating men that don't have gold. But okay. We know. But I'm going to go ahead and play this really quick for you guys. And then I have to go get my charger for my laptop because my laptop's about to die. Literally. I'll be back.
I'm Courtney Tailor, and I do OF for a living.
OnlyFans. You got like 1 million followers or something?
2 million.
Damn. You look like the type of girl that only dates like rich guys. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I only date Black guys, especially Black guys. Especially Black guys. Let me clarify. I only date rich.
Okay, rich Black guys. There we go. And so you're toxic.
Yeah.
You can tell she like Black guys. It's like especially Black guys. For all you watching, I'm with it. Do you like to be fully controlled, or do you?
I like to be submissive. Pretty well, yeah, in the bedroom,
Yes.
but like in my life, I don't like anybody to tell me what to do.
So you only want them to tell you what to do in the bedroom. Other than that, you don't want them to tell you anything.
Right. That's exactly it. Yes.
So that sounds like you're a control freak with your relationships. Be careful with this one. She's gonna boss you around like
Sweet toxicity.
So you only date rich Black guys. So like, have you ever dated like any politicians or only like rappers or athletes, or what kind of rich Black guys?
No dope boys, no politicians.
Just strictly athletes.
I mean, well, dabble here, dabble there a little bit.
Have you ever dated any celebrities?
Dated? Well, I mean, yes.
What celebrities have you dated?
Just like athlete, Jermichael Finley, but don't look him up. Don't look him up. Don't look him up because it's gonna make me look really bad.
How much do you make a month?
A lot.
Yeah, we make good money.
Like you make 6 figures a year.
Multiple six.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
You guys, I'm trying not to cuss, y'all. I'm trying not to cuss, y'all. I really am. Like, I'm really trying not to cuss. And the reason is because I'm just say it. These men are full of shit. They are full of shit. They are full of shit. There's nothing else to talk about. And you know what they full of? Hatred, self-hatred. Self-hatred. She literally embodies everything that they say Black women are, except for her hair, her skin, her eye color. She's literally one of us. Literally one of us. The only thing that she has on us is white privilege. That's it. That is it. So there's nothing else to talk about. So, like I said, Sarah, Becky, and Katie need to get out here and protest for this man because we're not doing it. We are not doing it. We are not doing it. She has her own money. She's toxic, like they say we are. She's not submissive. She's only submissive in the bedroom. She has more than a 6-figure income, and they know, Black women that are too successful. Black women have too much money. They're too successful. They're like men. What is she? What is she? I don't get that. And then her success is from, OnlyFans, and that it is what it is. Instagram models, but they love to talk about Black women who are OnlyFans models or Instagram models. They love dragging Black women like that, but y'all never drag these other girls. And this is why, because you don't keep the same energy with your preferences. They're going to drag you through the mud. They're literally going to take you to the cleaners every time. And it's going to be so easy to do. It's going to be so easy to swindle you because they have this knowing now that you are into them simply because they literally are white. So they can do whatever. They can ice skate on your ass and you just come like, oh my God, I love her. And she gonna take you for everything that you got. It's entertaining to witness. Like it is. It's very entertaining to witness. And Black women, instead of you focusing on wanting up Black men by dating out, okay, just don't follow in their footsteps. You win when you do that. You win when you do that. When you put white men on a pedestal, you lose instantly. You lost. You lost. You lost. Stop putting white men on a pedestal. Stop it. Because they going to start catching on like these white women are catching on, and then you going to be looking stupid. So it's just best that you don't put white men on a pedestal. You put yourself on a pedestal, and you attract what you attract with that. But as soon as you start doing what black men do, you lose every single time. You're going to lose that one. But I believe the definition changed after the British colonized Nigeria. Is short, Aka means wild beast. Yes. I have seen some people use the term, but I'm not going to get into all of that. I know some Afro-Americans are going to feel some type of way about it, but I know where that stems from. So I just refuse to get into it because it's just so dumb to me. I'm sorry. I don't like the device. I don't like how the whitewashing that has taken place has basically divided us as black people. Like it does not make sense, you guys. Like it does not make sense. We're all treated the same from white supremacists. So it doesn't make sense for us to divide among each other culturally. Like it just does not make sense. I'm trying to find thin is submissive, that word. Yes. Here we are. Did you see Megan Good fighting for this man? Again, there are going to be some women that are not going to be on code. So, and sometimes it's ignorance. Sometimes it's because they're not on the level of enlightenment that you are on. And so just give them grace, you guys. The only way that I say it's dangerous is when a black woman takes on the identity of a black man and she puts his identity before herself. That's when it becomes dangerous. But if that's what she want to do with her platform, that's what she wants to do with her platform. You should get in her comment section and educate her on why she shouldn't speak out about it. We're never divided. We were never united. We were definitely united when it came to our skin. That's all I'm gonna say. Because we were forced to. We were forced to, like cattle. Okay, they pushed us all in together. We were forced to, like cattle. And then, when the whitewashing took place, then definitely the divide really, really happened. But no, we were at one point united. We were forced to be because of some things that were happening. I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna say this too. Oh, I wanted to talk about Zach Stacy, the football player. And the reason why I want to bring this story into this story is because of the state of Florida. So let's go ahead, because everyone is dragging this girl, but I'm like, where was this energy when it came to Zach Stacy? Everyone was like, oh my God, he probably suffers from, is it CTE? I forget, what's the concussion that you get when you play football for a long period of time? And everyone wanted to blame his mental health condition and things like that. But now you want to give this white woman, you want to say that, oh no, she's not crazy. She doesn't suffer from any type of mental health issue or anything like that. But this is what you guys were talking about. Oh, it's ECT. Or is it CTE? I'm going to just look at it. Oh no, CTE. Okay, CTE is the condition. That's what I thought. And so everyone wanted to give this man a pass. So I'm just like, this is why I'm like, people don't know how to keep the same energy. But let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. And this is why black women need to stay out of it, because she released a video of being tossed around in front of her 5-month-old son that they shared together. So we don't know what was going on in that relationship. We don't know. Not saying that he was the aggressor, but not saying that she was the aggressor. We don't know. We don't know how the relationship played out. But I'm going to play this story. And this is why the state of Florida, when it comes to domestic violence, they're a little different. Okay. The state of Florida is a little different. This is why it's important for you to pay attention to your local elections and stop giving the presidential elections so much attention. Like, you actually should look into your local elections, because that is actually what affects you consistently, I will say, than the presidential election. But that's just my 2 cents. But let's go ahead and get into this case, because you'll start to see why the state of Florida allowed Courtney Tailor to just roam the streets.
For that, Kristen, we do start with that breaking news we told you about at the top. This is from overnight. Former NFL player Zach Stacy waking up in the Orange County jail this morning. This is his new mugshot. Fox 35 was working to learn the details of his arrest. We do know that he's accused of attacking his ex-girlfriend in her home just west of Orlando.
Yeah, the video of the attack is making national headlines, and when you see it, you understand why. We do want to warn you, it's violent and disturbing to watch. Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie is live. She's outside the county jail. Amanda, I know we spoke exclusively with the victim, and she says she wanted to release that video and had good reason to do it.
That's right. So Kristen Evans tells us that she wants this surveillance video to be put out there to the public so that she can help other women in similar situations. She says she is living in fear. Now, take a look at this video. It is hard to watch. It's a brutal attack that Kristen Evans tells us made her realize enough was enough. She says Zachary Stacy has been violent throughout their relationship. And this most recent incident where the NFL running back throws her into a wall played out in front of their 5-month-old son. She says she's working with attorneys to ensure that he doesn't get away with this. Here's what she had to say in this exclusive interview with Fox 35.
State of Florida, they see domestic violence as just a simple battery, which is a misdemeanor. But the fact that he damaged my property up to $1,000 makes it a criminal mischief felony. So therefore, my TV is worth more than what my life is worth.
Evans says she reported Stacy's violence to law enforcement before, but that it didn't go anywhere. Oakland police say they responded to the same address back on August 16th of this year to check on an argument between Stacy and Evans. Then about a month later, on September 26th, they responded again to investigate a possible domestic violence situation with the two. Stacy is currently being charged with criminal mischief and aggravated battery. He is expected to go before a judge for his first appearance this afternoon. Reporting live from the Orange County Jail.
You guys, that is the state of Florida. Okay, that is the state of Florida. That's all I'm gonna say. So that's why I'm like, is for Courtney Tailor, is it really white privilege, or is it the state of Florida? Is it really white privilege, or is it the state of Florida? Because I've seen how it actually, in this case, it favored who? The black man in the same state. So when it comes to this subject, I really think the state of Florida needs to reevaluate their laws when it comes to DV. Because I'm just like, what? Literally, she got him on camera, on video, and he still got off. So, okay, I'm just listening to any Florida citizens out here. Y'all need to go. I don't know what y'all need to do down there, but y'all need to change them laws. Yes, the state of Florida's laws are very weird. They're very weird. So everyone wants to say, "Oh, it's because she white privilege." No, it's the state of Florida. Okay. So do we really need to use our Black Lives Matter resources? I don't think so. I think we need to focus on the state, the citizens there need to focus on changing the laws in the state of Florida. And you guys, if you live in Florida, you need to start investing in your local elections to change the laws that you have to abide by every day. Because, yeah, that's crazy. I'm just like, what? So I don't know. The state of Florida is weird. So I can't just sit up here and be like, oh, she got off because she's white. I don't know. This man got off and he was black. So I don't know. And he was on camera.
Amanda McKenzie, Fox 35 News.
I'll videotape her. Right now, you should go. Yeah, you should go. Because you just killed your boyfriend. Yeah, you did. Yeah, and yeah. Okay, cool.
Developing tonight, 2 detectives suspended for their handling of the investigation into the death of Lauren Smith.
Okay. Now, this is what I came to make this video really for and about, is Lauren Smithfield. Okay. and I'm speaking to Black people. I'm not even just speaking to Black men. You guys came on this platform and you dragged this girl's name through the mud. You created a rumor that she was a sugar baby. And really, I'm talking to Black content creators. I thought the whole reason that we came on this platform was to make a change so that we wouldn't be what white media is to us, right? But it seems like you guys don't want to stick to the facts, because when you stick to the facts, it's not as entertaining. So you want to start with a rumor, you want to run with a rumor, and you want to create this lie, because if it's a narrative, that's more entertaining. So here we are today. The truth is finally coming out about Lauren Smithfield's death, and how she wasn't a sugar baby, how she went on a date just like any other woman in today's age, and she was drugged, and there were date rape drugs found in her system. But again, we didn't care to know the truth. We just wanted to run with this narrative. Swirlers, the divestment community, turned their backs on her because, you know, they had a fallen soldier. Let me tell you something about swirling and divesting. You got to understand, as a Black woman, right? We're in the middle of a revolution. There is a major shift happening. There is a reckoning happening for Black men. There's a revolution happening for Black women. We're going to have fallen soldiers, okay? But they need to be honored, not ignored, or we turn their backs on the family. We don't speak about what happened to them. That is downright disgusting to me. And it's interesting because it's like, okay, if we're going through this process, there's a shift happening among us as women. We're gonna have some women that fall. Like that's with anything in life. Some things don't go according to plan, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep trying. You shouldn't keep moving forward. But it also doesn't mean that you should turn your back on someone that has fallen. You should honor them. You should. So I'm speaking out about it today. And you got to understand that this is going to be a thing, but we got to stand by these women. And now that we're sending the message to Christian, we're sending a message with this story behind Christian. We really got to have each other's back, because we're definitely going to get hit with more fire after this situation with Christian. It is what it is. And we got to make sure that we have each other's back. We can't be turning a blind eye to situations like this just because it involved a white man and a dating app. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Black women should be able to go out here and date who they want to date. If they want to use a dating app, they should be able to use a dating app. Nothing should happen to them. But say something does, we as Black women have to have each other's back. We can't just turn a blind eye to that. That's crazy. So I didn't like that. So I'm making this video for Lauren, her family, because no one gave a damn. And some of you Black women as well, you guys didn't give a damn about what actually happened to her. You didn't care about her family. You didn't care about the Black women, her mother that were attached to her, maybe even some of her friends. You turned your back on her because it didn't fit your narrative. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video so she can receive some type of justice today in the midst of Christian's death, because you know what? It's interesting how everyone wants us to spare him, but who spared her? Who spared her? Who spared her family? Everyone wants to talk about, well, his family. Well, who spared Lauren's family?
It's Fields. She's the college student from Bridgeport, Connecticut, who died after going on a date with someone she met on a dating app. For weeks, her family has questioned how the department has handled her investigation. And tonight, the mayor is blasting the probe and putting 2 officers on leave. And there are new questions about another woman who died under similar circumstances. News 4's Anjali Hemphill is in the newsroom with the major new developments tonight. Anjali?
Gilma, tonight, the Bridgeport mayor made a public apology to the 2 victims' families and said both cases have now been reassigned to other members of the police department.
And I want you to know that I am extremely disappointed with the leadership of the Bridgeport Police Department. and have found the actions taken up to this point with regards to these two investigations unacceptable.
Scathing remarks Sunday night from Bridgeport Mayor Joe Ganim regarding his police department's handling of two women's mysterious deaths on the same day in the same neighborhood.
After viewing these matters even more closely, and in the absence of the police chief, I've directed the deputy chief, Chief Baraha, to immediately put on administrative leave the two officers who are the subject of the Bridgeport Police Internal Affairs investigation.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel.
Last month, 23-year-old Lauren Smith Fields was found dead in her apartment after a date with a man she had met on the dating app Bumble. Investigators say she had fentanyl, prescription drugs, and alcohol in her system that resulted in what the medical examiner ruled was an accidental overdose.
So fentanyl is the top drug, and then they have a couple other drugs they found in her system that are typically associated with date rape drugs.
It was careless. It was no concern. There was no care for the family about how we felt, our grief, our pain, none of that.
News 4 spoke exclusively to her family last week, who say the Bridgeport police have not properly investigated her death or taken the case seriously. Meanwhile, the family of another woman, 53-year-old Brenda Rawls, have made similar allegations against the department.
And she has family that loves her, and we're going to miss her and we'll never forget her. We're always going to have this pain in our heart for her.
Rawls was also found dead in Bridgeport, and like Smithfield's family, they say police never even notified them of her death.
Both these deaths happened not only in the 138 district, but the exact same precinct on the same day. So we have a lot of commonality here. And for me, this is becoming frightening.
And as questions continue to swirl about the police department's handling of both cases, these families say they will continue to demand answers.
You're not going to be satisfied with an internal affairs investigation.
No, I want an outside investigation. We want the Department of Justice to come in and do their own investigation.
All I'm gonna say is this, I understand that there are Black women on this platform that are still healing, and I get it. But like, sis, your love for Black women should be greater. It should be greater than your hatred for Black men. It should. Like, it should be greater than your hatred for Black men. It really should. I get that some of you guys are healing. And I honestly, I don't feel right to ask you to just let that go, because I don't know what you've gone through, but your love for a Black woman should be greater than your hatred for a Black man. It just should. And for me to be on this platform and be the only Black woman that wanted to speak out about this situation, but not do it in a way that would drag or tarnish this girl's name like some of you guys wanted to do, sugar baby this in the title, sugar baby that. Come on. Like, your hatred, it shouldn't be greater than your love for a Black woman. It just shouldn't. It doesn't even make sense. Like, why? The energy is not going nowhere. It's not going nowhere. And it's not doing anything for you. So, and that's what the message was sent to me was, dang, the hatred for Black men is way greater than love for Black women. And it shouldn't be that. You should be putting yourself on a pedestal. You should be putting all the love that you have back into yourself. You should not be splitting that between, okay, I'm going to give some to myself and then I'm going to give all this hate to men. It does not make sense. So please, I ask that you get to a point of peace, healing, let it go. It doesn't do anything for you. If you truly are divesting, you truly are out here swirling, you're leveling up, which I encourage, and I'm very happy that you have gotten to that place. But now it's time to release that old baggage. There's no point in you carrying that into a new life, a new chapter, a new way of thinking, a new mindset. Like, it doesn't even make sense. So if you see a woman out here that has fallen, right, because she decided to step out, do something different, and live a different lifestyle, right? And somehow something happened to her, because that's how life happens. Nothing in life is guaranteed. You can do everything right and things still go wrong. Have her back. Don't just turn your back on her. And that's exactly what I saw with the Lauren Smithfield situation. And the more I started researching into her story, I even talked about another Black woman in that video about how a similar situation happened to her. And I got bashed for that, dragged for that, because it wasn't favorable to this narrative that white is so much better and white is so much greater. The reality is, you don't know that to be true. You have to get out here and you got to vet and see everybody the same. Like, you can't just go off of a stereotype. You got to see everyone the same. And the reason why I speak this way is because it happened to me. It happened to me. I tell y'all all the time about my mentor, how he was a white lawyer, how he came on to me, how I spoke out against him. This was my sexual assault. I was sexually assaulted by a Black man and I was sexually assaulted by a white man. The white man had privilege, money, status. He knew people in the police department. There was no justice for me in that situation. I didn't get anything, nothing. So it's just, I don't believe in putting no one goes on a pedestal but me. And hopefully I influence you to do that, because at the end of the day, you got to have your own back. You're a Black woman. Portrayal comes in all shapes, sizes, colors, forms. So you got to have your own back. You can't be relying on some savior to come and save you. And that includes white Jesus. And I said it. Yes, I said it. You got to learn how to save yourself. You do. You got to learn how to save yourself. You got to learn how to have your own back. And I understand that, we were groomed to always wait on some savior, but there's no savior. He does not exist. Save yourself. So that's all I'm going to say on that situation. I do want to talk about some Black men did speak out, and they were understanding of the fact that we as Black women collectively don't want to have our hands in this situation. We just don't. So I'm going to go ahead and play that video. Let's see. Someone in the chat box said Jesus is our savior. You guys, the reason why I said that is because you got some women, and it's not just Christians though. There are some Muslims as well that are stuck in a situation because of their religion. They allow men to weaponize the religion, that their faith, against them. And this is why I'm telling you, save yourself. Save yourself. Stop praying for God to come in. Stop praying for Jesus to come in and save you. Save yourself. That is what I'm saying. Okay. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have your faith or anything, but you have to be proactive. You can't just be praying in the sky and then not doing anything. Like, that doesn't make any sense. If you're not happy with your situation, you're not happy with your marriage, you don't want to go home for whatever reason, you're in a toxic relationship, or a household, you sit out in your car, you don't want to go inside, praying in your car is not going to help you get through it. Do something. Doing something about it will change your situation and your circumstances. But praying and waiting on Jesus to come is not. It's going to keep you exactly where you are. Without faith, without you putting action behind your prayer, you're really wasting your time. Do something about it. That's all I'm going to say. Do something about it.
And also tonight, the Smithfields family attorney called the mayor's statement and actions a step in the right direction. Live in the newsroom, Anjali Hemphill, News 4, New York.
I literally am not okay. Christian Toby was murdered by his white girlfriend.
Now, I've seen quite a few stitches of this video, and the responses of those stitches, they're ashamed of the Black women in the comment section of this video. Unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that those Black women in that comment section are right. The loss of his life is very unfortunate, but it is very clear and evident that this is the result of his preference. And to add further context to this, here are some tweets made by him in 2012. Pause to read. As I've stated in my last video before, if you're going against Black women, you're going against the community as a whole. And lastly, let's not act like this is something new, because there have been plenty of Black men who've been wrongfully unalived at the expense of white women.
The message for Black men and Black men only. So if you're not a Black man, maybe just stay back. You can't talk shit about Black women and expect them to have your back. It's as simple as that. Just can't. Black women hold an inordinate amount of power within our community, and whether you like it or not, they are a demographic that we are going to need to help us collectively and individually. This man was recently killed by his girlfriend, stabbed to death. This was his girlfriend. This man allegedly had a lot of things to say about black women. Like this. He used the word akata. That's a Nigerian slur for African American people. So now the general consensus is maybe we should just let the police do their job. I really hope he gets the justice that he deserves. But a lot of times we as men, we have to take inventory about how we feel about different things. And we have to ask ourselves the hard questions. You never know who you're going to need.
Well, you guys, that's all I got for this video. The only thing that I really want to add is, honestly, you guys, like, just stay out of it. Just stay out of it. You know, wish the family well, you know, but that's about it. I mean, what do they expect for us to do? If somebody don't like you, they don't like you. It is what it is. Somebody don't like you, they don't like you. They make that known. They go against you. They portray you. And it is what it is. So I mean, I know there are some friends that you've been betrayed by, or some guy you used to date that you've been betrayed by. You wouldn't even show up to his funeral. So why would you feel obligated to step in because this is a viral story? Black women, we deal with domestic violence every 5.5 hours. Nobody cares about that. So until I start seeing some reciprocation from all of these people that want me to put in all of this work to help them do this and help them do that, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not. Shoot, my therapist said, why are you overextending, overgiving, and doing all of these things when these people are not doing it for you in return? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Faith without work is dead. Yes, thank you. That is so true. Listen, faith without work is dead. So I send my condolences to his family, but no one cared about Lauren's family, which is really unfortunate. And so, you know, I'm not cold-hearted. I will send my condolences, but that's it. I'm not doing nothing else. That's it. I don't feel like he deserved to die or anything like that, but I don't feel like people deserve to die in general, but that's just my opinion. So that's all that I have regarding this video. If you could give this video a thumbs up. If you don't get anything else from this live, like, we have to have each other's back, you guys. We're going to have falling soldiers when it comes to swirling and divesting. It's going to be part of the movement. So you need to factor that in, that we're going to have falling soldiers. And in that moment, we don't turn our backs on the women who have fallen. Okay? We honor them just like you would with anything else in life. We honor those women, because they were a part of a major change. They were a part of a major shift among us as Black women. So we don't turn our backs on them. We honor them, okay? That's all I want to say regarding this situation. We don't turn our backs on them. We honor them because we understand that when it comes to this change, when it comes to this shift, we're going to have women that fall. And it should not scare you. It should not scare you. It shouldn't scare you out of wanting to date out. It shouldn't scare you out of wanting to live a different life and try new things. It should not scare you. It shouldn't. It should make you more aware that you got to look out for these things, but that's it. And don't allow these men to get in your head and manipulate you and talk you out of dating out and doing what's best for you. You shouldn't even be listening to them anyway. I don't even know why you guys still listen to them. They still talk like it's 1992, like it's still the 80s or the 70s. Like, their talking points are outdated. We're not living in the past. We're living in the future. We're living in present time, and we're living for the future. So we actively have to do things for our future. We can't continue to be delayed and go by what the community says when the community has not grown in years. The Black community has not grown in decades, you guys. If you want to still abide by those imaginary rules and obligations and things like that, you're literally going to be living in the past. It's time for you to move forward and live in present time and to prepare for the future. Nothing else to say. So on that note, please give this video a thumbs up. That's all that I have regarding this. Well, you know what? Would y'all like for me to take some calls? I mean, I would like to hear from y'all. I don't mind taking some calls to see what y'all want to say. If y'all have something to say, y'all let me know, because I can send a little invite. Y'all come on here and talk to me. You know, I'm tired of talking. Y'all want to talk? You know, I don't got all the answers. So if you want to come on here and you want to talk, got something to say, okay, well, let me go ahead and send y'all a little invite. Somebody said yes. Yes, okay. Come on up here and tell. Because this is supposed to be a live discussion anyway. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to just come on here and talk about it. I'm like, I got to get my talking points out the way as to why I ain't doing nothing. So I just sent in some invites. Let me... Yeah, girl, I ain't listen. Breonna Taylor, I ain't forgot. This cape been burned for, I don't know, a few years now. This cape is been done. I done took this cape off a long time ago. I ain't doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay. I'm gonna bring two of you guys on real quick. And as long as you guys are respectful, I mean, y'all really can take over. Just give me a sec. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, what would you guys like to add to this conversation?
I know you probably have more people, so I'll try to keep it short. I was just going to say that honestly, I don't have any mercy, or I'm not very sorry for this man and his little submissive and feminine Becky, you know. I'm actually like, I already posted this on my like IG. I usually like talk heavily on Black women issues, but this one I had to mention I don't feel sorry for him. And many people got on me, but I'm like, where was the smoke for Lawrence Smith Fields when no one said anything and they were laughing at her and they were saying, oop, that's what you get for dating a white man. I was like, well, that's what he get for getting with a white woman. And he was the same one literally dragging Black women to dirt. So I could care less. I already told her that. And then I already said I'm not marching. I'm gonna be at my home eating some griot, minding my own business, and going to sleep. That's what I said that I was gonna do. Because if Lauren ain't get no justice and all those Black women, all those 1,000+ Black women in 2020 that got killed, and currently right now, every 5.5 hours not getting justice or getting stories, why should I make this one minority of a Black man get attention? Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Okay, I agree. And
Yeah.
and the reason is because why should we as Black women continuously extend ourselves? And when we ask for that same energy, it's never reciprocated. So you know what we're doing? We're serving you the energy that you serve us. And if you have a problem with it, well, I guess you just have a problem with it. I don't feel bad. This don't have nothing to do with just Christian in himself. This has everything to do with how people like to ignore the things that we as Black women go through. And so now you guys want us to put on our capes. We're not doing it. Okay, we're not doing it. Y'all need to figure some things out because it ain't on us. Y'all need to get out here and I don't know, start organizing some things and get some things together because it just doesn't make sense for us to be out here doing that.
Yeah,
So,
I'm going to wrap this up, but I remember this Black man that literally got in my comments on my DMs. I sent another YouTuber. I'm not gonna say her name, but her initials are CG, my stuff about it, and showed the entitlement of Black men towards Black women. He was making it all sexual and not, talking about, how they're good mates. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that with you. You guys are bad mates. And literally, you guys were praising a white woman who killed one of y'all and pretend like nothing happening. So I could care less. And I'm not staying loyal to a group of men that never was to Black women. So you can miss me with that. And yeah, that's all I have to say, Yoni. And thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Well, I'm glad you were able to voice how you feel. You can always come back and talk to me. I'm open. And
Love you.
thank you for your input. Love you too. Okay, I think is it BMRH?
Yeah.
Now, I can certainly compartmentalize the whole situation with the lack of, I can say, positive relationship with black men. I put it like this. When you make a choice, stick to it. I think if you're going to date out, I think black men shouldn't be asked to protect. When I grew up, it was always if a woman got into a problem, I'm gonna go get my brother, I'm gonna go get my father, I'm gonna go get my boyfriend, and there's a bunch of men in jail, in the hospital, or grave right now because of that. To say that black men didn't protect black women is an absolute lie. Everybody grows up knowing these stories.
Well, you do know that black women are the most unprotected, and it has been a known thing for decades.
I don't think
let's,
people
no,
are
no, 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 no,
based.
no. Let's start from the very beginning. You guys watched us, right, during slavery, be stripped of our femininity as your women, and it has been a continuation ever since. It has never stopped. So when did the shift ever happen? Because as a black woman, I've always had to live in fear that a white man could wear a police officer uniform and come in my home with my husband, my children, and do basically whatever he wants. And the law would favor who? That police officer. Black women have never been protected, not under the white man's law. So if you want to live, if you want to live in that delusion, you can live in that delusion. You're not even protected. You are not even protected, because if you were protected, then that means that the police officer couldn't just come in your home and do whatever he wants to do. Correct?
Because I work in law enforcement, most police officers aren't out here killing random black people. The majority of the crimes that happen in the black community are done by majority, like I say, violent crimes, a majority black men, right? The issue in the first place is poverty and a lot of those things, and the music and the type of messages that are going out, right? So when it comes, there's always been movements, there's always been uprisings of black people throughout history. It's a long story if I had to go into. So when it comes to black male protect, let's say the Detroit 300 or Dad's on Duty. When Dad's on Duty came out, who turned against them? The same people asking for protection turned against them. Where your job at? Why you not at work?
So you're saying,
you broke. That's why you at the school protecting these kids, because you broke. You ain't got no job. So the whole idea that black women are out here you're seeking for leadership of the black community. Let's keep it real. That's what Black Lives Matter is about. That's what all that stuff.
I'm gonna have to keep it real with you. We're not seeking leadership from anyone within the black community. The black community has not grown in years. So
no, I'm saying you're seeking to be a leader in the black community. You're seeking.
I'm not.
That's why y'all get jealous of of Dad's on Duty and Detroit 300 and stuff like that, and the movement. Y'all hated all of those movements, right?
So
and you can see it online.
No, you think that black women want to be leaders of the community. You think that we're jealous.
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely. When you go to a Black Lives Matter rally, the people that started that don't even date men. They're masculine women that want to be leaders of the community. That's why you voted for Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, how are you going to say you care for black men, Black Lives Matter, and then vote for Kamala Harris? She's putting black men in jail like hotcakes. What are we talking about?
Sure, no one voted. Listen, I'm going to tell you this now. The Black Lives Matter organization, I don't stand behind it. As a black woman, I don't stand behind it. It's been compromised. Majority of the movements within black history have always been compromised. They have never been for black people. It's always been a money grab. So as a black man, you should know that, because you're the one that's supposed to lead us. So you should know that the Black Lives Matter organization funds the Democratic Party. You should know that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, it was all a scheme. It was all a plan to get the black vote, to get certain people in position so that they could work for a higher authority that we don't even see. It's faceless. You should know that as a black man.
I
you
do.
Should know that. You
I
should
do.
know that.
I do. I have a real problem with.
So then you would know that me as a Black woman would never look to the Black Lives Organization, the organization, for any type of resource or handout or anything like that. That whole organization has been compromised, and I've been saying that since day one. So you, as a Black man, should be well educated enough to understand that that movement was never for us at all.
No, I agree. And don't think I'm up here disagreeing with everything that you guys are saying. Black male leadership is absolutely lacking, right? What I'm saying is in today's environment, it's not what it used to be. It's not Black women that are out here seeking protection from Black men anymore. America has empowered Black women to a point where they feel like they can be self-sustaining. And that's where they seek these leadership. Listen, there was a group of Black men that went online.
I have to ask you this.
Please, go ahead.
How?
Okay. What I'm saying is when Black men show this leadership, form groups or whatever the case may be, the people that come against it the most are Black women. When you go online and you go on, you look at the comments.
No. The reason why I'm saying no is because you guys have always been easily compromised. You want me to explain how? Okay, we can use Martin Luther King prime example. He was compromised. You do know that, right? By whom? A white woman. He was compromised by a white woman. He was having an affair with a white woman. It's not easy to compromise Black male leaders. All you got to do is throw them some women, throw them some drugs, throw them some money, throw them some opportunities, compromise. It's very simple.
I don't think majority of women are as intelligent as you are. If you read these comments, it's not about, oh, you're going to feel like Malcolm X did, or you're going to feel like Martin Luther King. That's not what they're saying.
But they're saying
these Negroes don't got a job.
They all fell victim to the same gimmicks. And you guys love to be victims of, the crack epidemic. Nobody told you to put that pipe up to your mouth. You chose to do it. Nobody tells you to put that bottle up to your mouth. You chose the bottle. So we can't keep playing this victim role with every generation. At some point, you got to be wise enough to rise above it and choose better for yourself, because you're not a victim. You've seen You've seen how Black men before you got caught up. So you're like, you know what? I'm not going to choose that path. I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to choose this path because this path, it doesn't involve drugs. It doesn't involve getting caught up with women that I know are low vibrational. They're not good for me. They're not good for me. They just going to get me caught up in some mess. And so I'm also not going to take just any opportunities because, first of all, when it comes to this music, a lot of Black men choose these opportunities simply to get that money, but they don't care how it affects their community, the youth, how it poisons the very people that they're trying to influence.
Yep.
So it's just no. At some point, you're going to have to take accountability because cycles are constantly being repeated with every generation. It's the same old song. Choose a new song. Why we keep choosing the same song? So no, that doesn't make any sense to me. If you want to live in a place where you truly feel like you cannot choose better, I can't respect that. And I can't respect you as a man because as a man, you are a leader. You are supposed to choose a direction that you feel is suitable for you, any woman that you want to procreate, you want to procreate with, and any children that follow behind you. So I can't respect you as a man if you're going to really sit up here and blame people and things for why you are where you are or why your community is where it is today. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't.
Yeah, I'm compartmentalizing Black society as it is today. What I'm saying is there's a lot of videos that are being repeated, and it's just what they say. When you try the same thing and over, it's just insanity. Oh, yeah. You have Black men out here complaining. You have Black women out here complaining. The reality of it is people that choose to go out the community stay there, right? Or deal with whatever they want to give you and live your life that way, and let black men and black women who want to try to create something, let them try to create something. If they feel, you could sit back and laugh and, drink your champagne. That's fine. But instead of black men and women constantly complaining about what we're not getting from each other and whatever the case may be, go do what you got to do and build your community. And whoever wants to be outside the community and wait for a white person to notice them or whatever the case may be, let them die to death or whatever. And we'll laugh and
That's
fix
not
the
real. That's not realistic. See, this is the delusion that I need you guys as black men to understand. You don't run anything. You don't own anything. Period.
I
Whenever
totally
you guys are,
disagree.
no. You guys don't own anything. You don't run anything, and you're under the white man's law. So realistically, logically, that does not make any sense. What makes sense is for us to go our separate ways, for us to focus on ourselves, right? And for us to do what is best for us. It does not make sense for us to try to come together and create some community. We already live under the white man's law. So at this point, we need to learn how to live under the white man's law, because we were forced to do so by men, black leaders that were compromised, that walked before us. So the damage has already been done. If people would actually live in present time instead of trying to live like it's still 1960, then we can finally get to a better place and position within the community. But we want to still live in the past. The damage has already been done. So if black men need to take accountability with the failed leadership that we had before and where we are today. So the damage has already been done.
Yeah, I have a few things to do, so I'm gonna just leave it with this. Black men do own things in America. You can check H.J. Russell's his properties in Atlanta. He died, but his leftover property and his family owns a lot of property in Atlanta. And Ghana is one of the fastest rising economies in the world right now. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. But great conversation. You're a very intelligent woman. And thank you so much.
Thank
You guys
you. You enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, is it Naya? How are you doing?
Yes, it is correct. How are you, pretty? I just want to say he was giving me very much narcissistic, very narcissistic, and I just stopped listening to him after a while because it was just going left and it was going right. I have maybe 3 talking points, and I'm gonna let somebody else go. The first talking point is that being that he was caping for these white women, why don't these white women pay for his GoFundMe? Why does his family have to put up a GoFundMe? Where's the money at? So you telling me he was supposed to be pimping her out and doing all this extra stuff and he ain't saved no money? He don't got no life insurance? Mr. African, because you know how them Africans are. No disrespect to anybody who is African in the comments. You know they some of them don't like American African Americans versus themselves, and they do like to cater to the snow bunnies. And you see what happened? He got chopped up left and right. And no, we're not going to feel any type of way. I mean, it wouldn't have been that bad if you watch what you need to post. If he didn't post all of that, maybe the black community would have had some sympathy, but we still would have been side-eyeing him like, well, see, that's what you wanted. You wanted a queen, but you didn't want to get a real queen, right? You want to cater to these women and put them before us and act like they're God's gift, and you see what happens. And I'm gonna tell you something about them girls, right? So growing up, I was raised upstate New York, and these snow bunnies, we call them, right? They do anything and everything, and they act crazy for the thing. And when I tell you, they look at you sideways as if you want their man, but you don't. They think they better than you, and they really have complex issues with themselves. Like I don't know if you ever had a friend that wanted to be, or she was a little, let's not say ghetto, but she had a little. Yeah, you know how they are. They are crazy. They are psycho Bob crazy. They will call the cops on you. They will stalk you. They will do all of that. And that's why I said my kids can't bring them. They cannot bring them to my doorstep. You see your mother? Let's keep it that way. And you can call me whatever you want. If she ain't my color or better, I don't want it and I don't need it because I know how they operate. They are crazy. And you know, and I know it. They have complex issues. I had over the years them come and tell me, oh, I like your color. Or I even had a couple and I'm like, let's go tan. And I'm like, what you mean let's go tan? And sis, like, you see me? Like I'm supposed to sit out and bathe, you know? Those are the ones you gotta watch for. You know, oh well, I want a little biracial child. And they look at you and they really
or
want.
they'll try to sabotage you.
Yes, they will, and you got to be careful. You really do. You really
Yes,
got to
I
be
grew up
careful
in
with
a
them.
very diverse area as well, so I
Mm-hmm.
definitely understand, you know, and this is why, like, when Black women started putting white men on a pedestal, I'm like, I grew up with these men, like,
Child.
you know, like, let's slow down, girl. Wait a minute. Like, I grew up seeing both white men, Black boys, and they all got a lot in
Right.
common.
Right. But I
But
have Black friends. That's what they always say. But my mom, I
right,
have Black
you
friends.
got to
My
be
cousin is
careful.
Black too. Yeah, okay. But like I said, with both of them, even last night I went out and the security guy was he was flirting with me. He was like, we could have beautiful biracial kids. And my sister was like, I don't like that comment at all.
Black women, we have to be careful from all sides. Like that's just the reality. You know, we
Right.
can't walk in the footsteps of Black men because you're going to be taken advantage of. You got to watch your back from everybody.
Right. Watch your
Everybody.
purse, hide your coins. Don't.
Yes.
And my whole thing about it is that if it wouldn't have been as bad if he wasn't talking negatively about his own skin complexion, that's what kills
Ooh.
me. Well, let's talk about it. Why are you so you're Black, right? But you're talking about yourself and the race you came from. Your mother's Black, right? Or was she white? What is it? Like I just hate self-hate. I'm tired of the colorism and I'm tired of the self-hate. I don't feel bad for him. I don't. And it's sad that I have to say that. I should be like, oh, I should have some compassion, some remorse. But I just saw a video of the girl getting scared out of a bar because she went to go get a drink with her dad. And somebody was like, oh, so you just killed your boyfriend and you're going to drink? Yeah, she is. She got away with it. Now, let it would have been one of us and it was a white boy. We would have been done. Finito.
Right. 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 So
Yes. So, yeah, so I don't think that when us women we say we shouldn't be tired. And you know what, another thing I want to talk about before I leave? I said to my one friend one day and I said, why do we always have to be strong Black women? Why can't we just be women? Why? Why is it that we have to carry all the hardships, the anger? Why do we have to be better? Why us? And then you treat these other ones as if they queens. And as soon as shit get real, they run off like Kim. You see, Kim
nowhere
got the
to be
bag and
found.
left. You
Nowhere
see,
to be
Kim got the
found.
bag and left. I ain't mad. That's what Kanye get because he put them on pedestals. You see what I'm saying? Took half of his millions and she gonna live her best life.
And this is I'm glad you brought that up. This is what I was telling Black women earlier. I'm like, why Kim sound like us? Well, I'm focusing on myself and I'm loving myself.
Oh,
Why
of
she sound
course.
like us? That's why I'm like, we don't, when it comes to this Courtney Tailor situation, you ain't gotta like the girl, but you don't know what went on in their relationship. She over
Right.
here claiming mental health or mental illness. How many of us have been traumatized mentally? But because, you know, mental health is not, you know, it's a taboo within the Black community, we
It
don't even
is.
know how to like evaluate ourselves in that way to even know what we're dealing with. But in her culture, she is. And so she activated, you know, she claimed it was self-defense and she had some mental health issues, which a lot of us do. I know I had to go to therapy after I got done dealing with the narcissist. So
Child, you need to get that book, how to deal with how to get. It's a book that I had got on Amazon. It's something about narcissism. It's a really good book. The child, and you know what the crazy thing about the Black community is that a lot of people don't know that that's a real definition and that's a real psychopathic and it's a real thing. It's such a thing. It's toxicity, and a lot of women don't know that. And even if you come to your boyfriend like, I'm a little stressed out, and then you crazy, so you can't even vent to Black men because they're going to use it against you. So it's like you can't win. But like I said, why do we always have to be a strong Black woman? Why do we have to deal with all of this? And you gotta go get them Beckys, and then when the shit get real, they take you for your money, and then you sad and want to come back home to the community. It don't work like that. And I don't. And Kim can say, "Oh, I'm gonna focus on myself, sis. Whatever. Just go somewhere." But understand, before Kim and before Amber and all these little white girls, remember Kanye came into the game. Well, I know I'm getting sidetracked, but he came into the game with a Black woman named Alexis who put him onto fashion. But you'll never hear about that. Nope. You'll never hear about that. You'll just hear about this bitch, Kim. But anyway, I'm going to let you go.
Okay, well, thank you, Naya. You enjoy the rest of your day, sweetie.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Is it Shantia?
Yeah, Shantia.
Oh, I like that. So
Thank
what would you
you.
like to add to the conversation?
Well, the male caller kind of threw me off a little bit because I was going to start off with Lauren, but I always hear these podcasts and talks, and they like to talk about the crack pandemic that happened to the Black community due to government helping out and stuff like that. But we never talk about the pandemic that happened before the crack pandemic, which was heroin. And it had nothing to do with the government. It had everything to do with Black men bringing it into the community.
Mm.
Because there's a whole documentary on how that heroin got into our community. And
What's the name of the documentary, sis?
I'm gonna have to pull it back because it's on Netflix. I watched it on Netflix, and I was like, I had no idea. I had no idea how the heroin pandemic started. With how it started coming to our community with one man that was in the military, and he had access to the drugs over, I think it was in Vietnam or something like that, and how he was bringing it over to help. But that was the first really downfall of the Black community was heroin pandemic with getting women hooked on drugs and men hooked on drugs too, because they were selling it to their own. They wasn't selling it outside of the community.
Mm-hmm.
So the community was already broken down before crack even came along.
Wow. So they were already hooked onto something, which made
Right.
it
The
easier
heroin.
to sell.
Right. And from what I understand, heroin is a very different drug than crack because heroin changes the brain in some way where it's harder to get off than crack was. And I do believe that because unfortunately in my life, my mother was hooked on crack when I was a young girl. And it took her a very long time to get off of crack, but she was able to do it. But she also had other friends that did drugs like heroin and stuff that
Mhm.
unfortunately did not get off heroin and died, you know. So that was my first thing about I was like, we never talk about what happened before the pandemic happened, because if they looked at it, they would see that Black men were doing egregious things to their own community before then. And then not even talking about what they did with exploiting Black women in the sex industry
Mm.
back then with them being pimps.
Mm.
They had no care about their community.
No.
So, it's very layered.
It's so easy. It's so easy to compromise the Black man. Like if say I was the Black man's enemy, the number one way I would get in with the Black man, right? And as his enemy is giving him resources and opportunities. It would be so easy. It would be so easy. And that's what I was telling the Black man previously. I'm like, the reason why our leaders, it always like they were doing well, and then all of a sudden there was a left turn somewhere, and it had something to do with money, opportunities, and women. So it's not that easy to compromise them. And so a lot of these men use drugs to get the opportunities that they needed to get the money. And we all know that when it comes to money and men, their ego is fed. There's nothing, you can't say nothing to that man. There is nothing you can say to that man. So it's so easy. And that's why I want Black women to see the connection. Okay. If you see the connection, you will stop dealing with men that are broke. And when you see the connection, you will understand that when it comes to men and their ego, the number one thing is money. And you can't compete with that. I'm sorry.
Right.
You cannot compete with that.
Right.
So there's no need in you trying.
Right, that's absolutely true. But yeah, I wish I could. But I think it's probably still on Netflix if you go to documentary. But
Okay.
also Denzel Washington, they played the movie because they did a Hollywood movie about it, and he was the person that they were talking about. So before the documentary came out. But the thing about Lauren Fields, which was a tragic situation, yeah, what you said before about how she got villainized so fast, and the way, I guess, you know how YouTube is set up. I don't follow a lot of people on YouTube, but I had put a search thing in, a while ago about Lauren, the story to pop up. But then, I was getting like other, content creators coming up with Lauren Fields, and I saw a lot of comments about people saying, "Oh, I didn't see anybody, talking bad about her and all." And I'm here to say, no, I saw the creators, and a lot of them were Black women creators that villainized her for her lifestyle, even bringing up the fact that she was young and she partied. Like, young people don't party. It was like one video, she was having fun with two of her friends. They were drunk in the house or whatever, and whatever they were doing. And people like, well, why are you taping this and all this stuff? I'm like, what? Where is this coming from where people are villainizing young people? I'm 44 years old, and I'm looking at when I was in my 20s, and yeah, I did some dumb things in my 20s. But to bring up me partying in my 20s to say that I deserve to die,
Yeah, that's it's crazy. Mm-hmm.
that is insane. And I did see it on both sides. Like, the Vestas channels was like, I think they just was not happy that she died by a white man because it did go against their narrative. And then Black men was like, well, she went out and dated a white man, so I don't give a fuck about her. And it's like, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, like we just abandoned her. Like,
I was like, I was like, and if she was a sugar baby, that didn't sign her up to die. She signed up to be a sugar baby if she did. She didn't sign up to be a hashtag.
Right.
So stop it with, villainizing her, or trying to put fear into Black women from dating out. you know and that's another last thing I wanted to bring up is, yeah, I completely agree with you about women have to protect themselves, period, from all men. You can't put any man on a pedestal. And I think one of the issues that a lot of Black women have is that we've had so much no success in being dated and being viewed as beautiful or wanted, that we get mesmerized when we see things. Like, we will see a lot of videos like on TikTok or even on YouTube, where you have these channels where they'll have like Black women and white men compilations, or Black women and Asian men or something like that. And they'll show all these videos with these Black women being happy with these white men. But you have to understand that a lot of those situations that you see, or I guess I would say, I want to say anomalies, because you're not going to find that all the time. You're not going to find that all the time. And I have a friend, and I had like told her, she was like so upset about not dating, she can't, dating Black men. And I was like, well, why don't you just try and open up and,
just be open,
date out and see what you find. And she was like, she said, it's not, she kept it a secret from me. She was like, I had actually dated a couple of people. I didn't say it because, I didn't want to be embarrassed about it, because she had a few dates that were bad. She said one of the guys was just really disgusting with her, saying very stereotypic things to her about Black women, and how he wanted to, you know, date her because he was curious about how Black women were and all this other stuff. And I was like, yeah, you have to very take the negative with the positive. I said, because as a Black woman, you're not going to find, if you think it just because you're dating out that you're going to find that man right off the bat, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Now, I'm not trying to discourage you from not dating out, but to make your hopes very high that just because you're dating out, you're going to find that non-Black man and he's going to cherish you and treat you better no, that's not going to happen. That's not gonna happen. You have to vet everybody.
And I mean, some women are on this platform selling Black women that dream, and it's just like I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry. I'm not
Right.
about
I
to
was
sell
like,
y'all a dream. I'm not.
right. I was like,
You gotta, and this is what I want Black women to understand. You have to get out here and create your own life. You have to get out here and create your own dream. You have to bring your dreams to reality. Like, you can't just go off of what other people are saying.
right.
You have to get
Right.
out here and do it.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's just hard to be a Black woman. But y'all be safe out here. Y'all keep your heads up. You keep shooting for your goals, and keep working on yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically, and just keep going. Just keep going.
Well, thank you. I really do appreciate your input. Thank you for calling in.
Okay, have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye. Is it Faye?
Yes.
Hello, hello, hello. What would you like to add to the conversation?
Hey, Yoni. I love your YouTube channel. Like, I'm
Thank you.
always
Thank you.
watching. And you're the main reason why I even follow Cynthia G. I never heard of her watching your video the last time.
Hold on, you're kind of going in and out there.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes.
No, I said you're the reason why I watch Cynthia G, because I wasn't like familiar with her channel before, and through you I found her channel. For me, I'm West African. I'm from Congo, and a lot of the stuff that people say in the comments are not true pertaining towards Africans' feelings towards Afro Americans. I think it just depends on the individual.
Okay.
Nigerians, like in most Western African countries, Nigerians, they've always portrayed themselves to be like the crop, as if they're like God gift in the African continent. So
you guys are Nigerians are very proud people.
They are. So a lot of countries in Africa do not get along with Nigerians. That's just their personality. They're just like very how can I say this without being rude? They're just very proud. There you go.
Right. I say very proud.
Yeah, so for me, I have a lot of friends of like all ethnicity, like I have Black American friends and stuff. But with the whole situation pertaining towards the Nigerian guy, I don't feel sorry. I'm sad that he passed away, but I don't feel sorry for the circumstances because African men, I've dated African men, and they know how to provoke you. I'm sorry. Like, they know how to provoke you. And Black men, they forget, especially when they date outside of other race, that for years, Black women, we have been taught to be strong mentally and go through a lot of like mental, just a lot of mental stuff with Black men.
I get where you're going with this.
And when they date outside of the Black community, they are forgetting that I'm not calling Caucasians weak-minded, but Caucasian women are not strong, to be honest. If you look at their community, it's always the men that's like the breadwinner. So for us, Black women, for generations, we have been taught by our grandma, our moms, like men cheat, men do this, men do that, like men are going to be manipulative. Just let it go, just hold it in. So when you go to like a community where these women are basically babied, because if a white lady says something, whether it's true or not, the law's going to believe her. It's just now with, technology, they're going to do more investigation before they believe her right away. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yes, you make a lot of sense. Actually, very logical. It does make sense. For you got to understand, like, the way white women are raised are very different from how we are raised. So culturally speaking, she mentally probably couldn't handle half the things that he was putting her through, just to be honest, you know. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. And that's what I'm saying. Like, for Black women, for us, it doesn't make sense to jump in and just side with him, because it's like we date him. So it's like we know that, you know, sometimes it can get to that level. And that's why, you know, if a man threaten us, I hate to say it. I hate to say it. If a man shoves us or does something to us, you know, we kind of just pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off. But if you do that to a Becky, you know, like, she thinks her whole life is in danger. And in most cases, you know, sadly to say, but us as Black women, our life is in danger. You know, but we are conditioned to think that, you know, some of the things that we go through with men we normalize it. And it's not normalized in her culture. And so she defended herself. That's what she's saying. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm staying out of it. I don't know what went on in that relationship. You got friends saying one thing, and then you got neighbors saying something else. So I'm just like, I'm not taking sides in the situation. I'm gonna just stay out of it and let the police and his family deal with it, because it logically, like you brought up your point here, it don't make sense.
It really doesn't. And that's why when I heard about the way she reacted, I'm like, it makes sense, because in her culture, Caucasians, even with the men, they react off their emotions. Like, even, you know, I have a lot of friends who date Caucasian men. And I've had a friend who told me her man told her, if you cheat on me and I catch you, I'm going to kill you and kill him. And I told her, I said, you better believe what he's saying, because, girl, that man is telling you how he's feeling. This is something he has already premeditated. So if you try it, he's telling you now that he's going to shut you up, shut himself up, and that's it. And people don't, you know, like, what Black men forget is that in their community, they're not built like how we are built.
No.
No, and it's sad because, you know, with us Black women, especially us now, modern Black women who are becoming more educated, we are becoming more self-aware and, you know, not tolerating, you know, like the nonsense our ancestors tolerated because they did not have the access like we do now. You know, so it's like she just reacted off her emotions. And for the guy, my second point is for the guy who was speaking about how Black women, if we choose to date outside of our race, we should seek protection from them. Black women have never been protected by Black men. If you check out the Black Lives Matter, all of the people that were marching were all Black women. I did not see the Black men. And I even said it the last time that I'm sick of always having the hashtag Black Lives Matter when it's a man. But when it's a woman, we Black women, we don't put that woman's safety, you know, like up to par as we do with a Black man. With that
And
whole thing
that's why I said girl code, sister code. What is it?
Right. You know, with that girl that passed away, and people are saying, oh, well, she went on a date and she know how white men are. Well, guess what? He knew how white women are. He knew that white people are quick to kill. So it's not something that all white people do. I'm just saying majority, that's their norm. You know, so it's like, why should we have sympathy for him when they do not have sympathy for that lady who lost her daughter?
Right. But no, like what white women need to understand, like, sis, you're signing up for struggle love. Like, you are. You are. You are. And so when you sign up for struggle love, you sign up for toxicity, dysfunction, and they're not used to that. A lot of them weren't raised in that way to fester in dysfunction and toxicity. They were raised to divorce and take half of everything. So they're not used to that. And so if he sat up there and threatened her, she probably took what he said very serious. and defended herself. So it's like I said, I'm gonna just stay out of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just stay out of it.
And black men, the thing is, black men, they don't have resources. They don't. Like, when you really think about every resources we get are from Caucasians.
Or Asians.
And even within the African countries, majority of the resources, African governments, like you were saying, when they are in power, they sell their resources to, other nations. And then the people who are in that country are suffering from poverty because when you put a black man in power, he abuses that power.
Every time. Every time.
So it's like, what resources? I mean, there's none, even in the African countries. Like, even though the president's black, but the country is not run by the president. It's run by a Caucasian man because he can bribe that that president, give him money, and he's going to sell his people or resources. Yep. Even during slavery, it was black men who sold slaves.
Again,
because how did they know to find slaves when they go hunting? It was from the black man.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, if I was the black man's enemy, I would know exactly how to get to him. Money, opportunities, women, drugs.
Right.
That's it. Very simple. They're very easy when it comes to compromising them with their leadership and everything like that. They're going to sell themselves out every single time, and they have shown that that's exactly what they're going to do. So on that note, Faye, I am going to move on. Is it Mole?
Thank you, love.
You're welcome. Thank you for your input. That was very interesting. Thank you for that. Okay, is it Mole? Hello. Okay, I'm gonna have to come back to her. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I joined your live a bit late, so I was a bit lost, but I managed to catch up again.
Okay. How do you pronounce your name?
It's just Olu.
Olu. Ooh, I love that. That is really pretty. I like that. What does it mean?
It's a shortened version of my name. Most people who recognize the name will know that it's Nigerian, and it just means the good work of God.
Ooh, I love that. Very beautiful. Okay. So what would you like to add to the conversation?
I just kind of wanted to point out the fact that I don't know, people seem to have brushed over the fact that this man is Nigerian, like the guy before, because a lot of people, at least where I'm from in the UK, and even when I see like comments about divestment and things like that, or people who are people give alternatives to what people, I don't know how I'm like phrasing this. I don't know why my brain's gone a bit. I mean, people say that African men are like an alternative to Black American men for women who are interested in still dating Black men. But I feel like that's not necessarily true. So people always say that, like, or at least what I hear is that if you are really interested in dating a Black man and you really are pro Black love and you want to remain in a relationship with a Black man, you should always open your options to African men. But I feel like, especially now with that story, I think people need to realize that that's not necessarily true. Like, if you Black men that are African, if once they immigrate, they kind of have the same mentality as the people that are already in those Western countries. So I'm from the UK. So things are a bit different in the UK as in terms of the Black community. In regards, they're a bit different in the UK, in America, because in America you guys have like you like have African Americans and then you have Africans. Or am I? Yeah, that's true. But in the UK, everybody's either from African descent or Caribbean descent. There's no such type of thing of like Black British versus like African Americans, or like Black British versus Africans that you guys kind of have over there. So
Okay,
everybody
so
here,
it's just in the States that we do that.
as far as I'm aware anyway, I can't speak for anybody anywhere else in like Europe
Okay.
and things like that, but in the UK, that's usually how it is. So I feel like I don't really need to tell this to the people here, but because they will obviously know, but I've just heard this kind of thing going around about how African men are somehow superior to Black American men, and that if you are so pro Black love, you should be open to dating African men. There is an element of that, I think, that's true, because African men, well, particularly the ones that are born and raised in Africa, the society, and obviously being mainly Black, upholds, and you see like Black beauty and Black women being upheld in the society, even though there is still rampant colorism in Nigeria anyway. With that being said, when people immigrate, like when Black Africans immigrate, because of the way that they're integrated in society and how they're brought up, they end up being the same and having the same kind of mentality. And I think that's very obvious from the news report that I just saw, especially with the comment of Akata's that he mentioned, but that was in like the tweets, and how the way he was just discussing about Black women, like that's something that a lot of people assume and say that African men would never say, and African men are so pro Black women, and African men are so like interested in Black women, which is true to an extent for those who live and are born and raised in Africa. But once people immigrate and they start integrating into Western society, I just think that that changes. And I wish that people would stop kind of saying that narrative and just be a little bit more wary, because I have seen people who have believed this kind of narrative and kind of put African men on a little bit of a pedestal.
Do you have that issue in the UK among Black women? Because I feel like it's really an Afro-American issue. We as Black women here have we constantly have to put a man on a pedestal. We don't know how to just not. We don't know how to just put ourselves on a pedestal. So is that a cultural thing over there?
I think that definitely exists in the UK amongst like Black British boys and Black British girls. So a lot of like Black British girls will kind of put Black British guys on a little bit of a pedestal. Like it's kind of the same things that you guys kind of talk about, that issues that you have with Black men in your in America are very similar to some of the issues that we get here. In terms of, there's a whole like light skin versus dark skin thing, guys saying that they have preferences for white women, but at the same time saying every stereotype under the sun as to why they don't date Black women. So it's a very similar situation over here. And that's mainly to do with like, and I'm saying that because like most of these men here are considered to be African, and yet they're still saying and perpetuating all of these things that people assume that African men don't do, but it's still a thing that happens. And I just feel like people should be a bit more wary, because I've just seen a lot of rhetoric going around that African men are somehow superior, especially Nigerian men. And that kind of goes back to what the previous person was saying before.
I have to keep it real with you, sis. Nigerian men have the money.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
that's why they are seen in that way.
That's definitely true, but
they have the good jobs. Okay, they got the degrees. I would have to say, like, if we are really being real here, they are the most successful group of men among Black men.
Well, yeah, you're definitely not wrong about that. That's definitely true. But I just feel like people should just be a bit more wary when they talk about African men, and stop putting African men on a pedestal, because I see this all the time. Because when you start to do that, you risk like kind of missing the signs and thinking that because he's African, he's somehow automatically going to be different. More than likely, if he's born in or raised in a Western country, he's going to still have some of those same ideals as and issues that you complain about with African American men.
Definitely. No, we're starting. It's definitely a global issue. I think Cynthia G brought that conversation to the forefront, that it is a global issue, which honestly, I would like for there to be some type of study done or something, because it's very interesting how it is a global issue. And it's just like, how is that even possible? How is that
Yeah,
even
I don't understand that either. Like even in like African countries, colorism is still such a rampant thing, and like bleaching of skin and proximity to whiteness, even in a nation where supposedly Black people are meant to be the most comfortable and the most celebrated in their Blackness, but you still have things like colorism and obvious preferences for lighter skin going on.
Okay. So you guys experience, I honestly feel like the root cause is definitely whitewashing. And then based off of the whitewashing, culture was created. And I think that no matter where you are in the world, that if you were a Black person and you were conditioned, or if you experience whitewashing, that I think it starts there. I do. I think it starts there. And I think that's why it is a global issue, because whitewashing is global as well.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that's definitely part of it. But that's all I wanted to say anyway.
Okay. Well, thank you for calling, and thank you for putting giving your input. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye-bye. Some are saying, so some of you guys are saying it started before that. Well, whitewashing go way back, y'all. It goes back. Is this Chelsea?
Hi, Yoni. I just wanted to let you know that I love, love, love your show. You are just, you're so powerful. You're so thought-provoking. And so I come from a Black family. My mother and my father are both married. I am married to a white man. So I always want to take it back to Black people to not think that you can't be successful when it comes to marriage. Because my parents were. I'm married to a white man where his mom been married 4 times.
Oh, wow.
His dad wasn't present because his mother was vindictive. And watching the damage that it has done to him, and me having no idea because I can't relate. We as Black people can still have marriage. We can still create powerful relationships, and we can be impactful to those around us if we so choose to. I think we're always looking for someone else to save them or save us, save our kids when it's on us. That self-accountability piece, I feel like it's not there anymore. It is my job to make sure that I procreate with someone who is worthy. I've been married to my husband for 6 years, and I'm about to 2-step into my 30s, and we don't have any kids. I'm very weary about having kids because I don't like that people will fetishize my children. Oh, they're mixed. They're going to be so pretty. Can't tell. My youngest sister is mixed, and she is not the ideal version of what you want a mixed child to look like.
Wow.
I don't want to watch my children go through this identity crisis where I'm not white and I'm not Black. And having to direct them in a space that I'm not familiar with. I'm Black and your father's white, and we don't know what you're going through, and I can't really guide you. It's almost not worth it to reproduce at this point anymore, knowing that I'm going to subject my children to that trauma, a trauma I can't work them through. So, but in being married to a white man, I have had to accept things. I have had to accept that the Black community will probably not protect me if something happens. I have to accept that the white community definitely isn't going to do anything if something happens to me. So it is very important that we are using that spirit of discernment. It's very important that, as Black people, you don't have to like gun laws, but they're there to protect you. Learn how to carry a gun, learn how to shoot a gun, do self-defense if it's not something that you're comfortable with. But I have to believe every day that, my life isn't valuable to anyone around me. So if I don't invest in making sure that I can protect my own life, that's what it comes back to. I'm not looking for, I wouldn't even put my Black father in a situation where he would have to protect me. I understand I have to protect myself.
Why do you feel that? Why do you feel like you can't or you shouldn't put your Black father in that position? That's interesting to say.
Just for me, I value my father enough to not create situations where he would need to be there to protect me. But I live on the East Coast and my father lives on the West Coast. He's not going to be there to protect me if I needed him to in a minute's notice. Okay. So just making sure that, you know, I always love that you are talking about, you know, not caping for people who do not deserve our support, but us remembering, like, I don't support the Black Lives Matter movement, because it's like so many of us say we get on the internet and we're keyboard warriors and we speak on topics, but how many of us are actually stepping into the communities that we live in? Are you voting for the people who hold position over the school your kids go to, the mayors of your town, your sheriffs? Are you voting for those people who have a direct impact on your life? If you're not even doing that, let's not step into a conversation about something that's happening in California or something that's happening in New York. Because if you don't care about the neighborhood you live in, the people who you live around, it doesn't matter. And I think that's what I don't like about the media. We're so focused about what's going on over there. We're not checking what's going on in our own homes. We're not checking what's going on in our own neighborhoods. And that's why things have gotten as far as they've gotten.
I believe so. And Black people, the only time they want to vote is for the presidential election. They don't want to vote local. They don't want to participate in the local elections that happen every quarter. I don't know, but we were never educated. I can honestly say that Black people were never educated on politics to really understand how it works. So I think they're confused on that. We only pay attention to the presidential election, which is great, but it doesn't directly impact you the same way if you actually pay attention to your local elections that happen quarterly.
Absolutely. Like, I have a Black sheriff in my town, but, you know, he done got caught up in some stuff too. And you're like, man, it's nice to see people who you identify and who look like you in these positions. And I'm not saying every Black person who gets into a position is not going to sit the seat the way it should be sat. But man, how many times, like, we just go in there, we vote for the president, you'll have 25 other checkbox going in for an election and you just check it. You have no idea the background of some of these people that we are pushing into office. We're pushing them into office. Because if you're voting for the president, you're probably voting for a lot of other people and you're not even conscious of who you are giving these high positions to.
High positions.
High position, can go to Congress, can sit in a seat for 40 years. How did Biden sit in a seat for almost a quarter of American history and has made no lasting or strong impact? And I'm not just talking for Black people. I'm always going to look at self, and I always want to see people who look like me be more successful. But you got these people who, you know, honestly, F the president. They're there for 8 years. That's it. It's done. Let's take it back to Congress. Let's get these people out of seats they don't need to be in. Like, but I'm sorry, like, we are working our way away from the topic, but just self accountability. As Black people, we are beautiful. We are worthy of being cherished. We are worthy of love. We are worthy of finding mates.
I do have to ask you this question because I just want to make sure that this is cleared up. You do depend on your husband to protect you, correct? Because some people are like, well, why is she wanting to bring her dad in if she has a husband?
Well, you know, some people do bring their fathers into situations where maybe they don't feel like they want to drag their husband. But no, my husband absolutely. I know my husband will kill for me.
Okay.
So we have those conversations.
Okay.
I will do it.
I just wanted to clear that up because, you know, some people, you have one talking point and then they don't think that it can go both ways. So I just wanted to make sure that was cleared up, that you do feel protected in your marriage.
No, absolutely. And do not bring children into marriages you don't feel protected in.
Right. Okay.
I love my spouse. I know that we are solid, but it's the fetishizing of children, biracial children, that make me not want to do it. And it's just the way of the world that just makes me not want to procreate. It is not that I do not have someone who I want to procreate with, but there's positives and negatives in every situation.
Right.
I have to understand, when I give birth to that thing, I'm willing to die for it. I will die for my children.
Right. Okay. Okay. I just wanted you to clear that up because I didn't want this narrative running that white men don't know how to protect their women and all of that type of stuff. But thank you for your input on that, because I just wanted to make sure that, you know, nobody was trying to run with that.
No, you're perfectly fine. I love you so much, Yoni. Please keep, doing the Lord's work for us women here. Keep provoking thought and, cutting the BS.
Thank you. And I appreciate you for calling in.
Bye, Yoni.
Bye-bye. Okay. I think is it Mole? Sis, I'm trying to add you to the chat. Ashley? Oh, Mole? Okay, I'm gonna go with Mole first, and then Ashley, you're up next. Okay?
No problem.
I'm good.
What was the question again? Like, I just
Well, how old are you, sis? Mole? Are you still there?
Okay. I can't really hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. How old are you?
I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure I'm not talking to a minor.
Oh, I'm 19 years old. Sorry, my
you're
baby
19.
voice is weird.
You're 19. You sound so sweet. Okay, so what would you like to add to the situation? She has a cute voice. And can you mute me in the back, please?
Thank you. The video have I want to add that I really love your video and your content. It's really inspired me and gave me a really good point of view about the Black community, because I was like, I had my cape on, and I have like Black brothers and nephews, and I felt like I was supposed to, like, no matter what, stand behind them even though they're Black. But you give me a different perspective. Even if they're Black, I still have a choice to not support them or be in the front line for them.
Yes. And so you understand that it's okay to put yourself first. It's not that you don't want to be there for your brothers or your nephews. It's that you're worthy and you're valuable and you have separate needs outside of their needs. And so you're choosing yourself, correct? I think there's a delay.
Yeah, I'm learning to choose myself. My brother, my nephew have told me that they prefer white women and other like light skinned girl than dark skin. I had a debate on my brother. Why does he prefer white women and light skinned girl? He said that Black women are ghetto, loud, and the typical stereotype about Black women. About he's like, I don't want my if I have a Black daughter, I don't want her to go to the same issues. Like, I want my daughter to have a better life, because you know how we Black people go through like racism, discrimination. He doesn't want his child to do that. I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. No matter what, even your child's mixed, they're still gonna go through the same thing, maybe even worse.
Right.
And honestly, I'm like, and I told him that I don't date Black men, and he gets defensive. I'm like, but you say you don't date like Black women. It's like these men have like double standard, and I also feel like Black men are more afraid because they see Black women are moving on. We're the only protection of economy. Like, we work more, we get more money, and they're afraid to lose Black women because we're like their backup. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. So, I have brothers. I grew up in an all boys home, and so I had an issue with this as well. Like, people for the longest didn't understand why I didn't want to burn my cape, and it was because, well, I'm like, well, I grew up with my brothers, and I helped raise them in some type of weird way, and I had this weird connection with other cousins that I helped raise and babysit and all this stuff. And I felt like I was turning my back on them. But when I came to the realization that I should never feel this guilty to choose myself, the decision became very simple to me. I'm choosing myself. And I hope more Black women burn their capes to choose themselves. It's not that you have some type of hatred towards Black men or anything. You're simply choosing yourself. And we, for decades, we watched our great grandmothers, our grandmothers, and our mothers choose men, their sons, and they sacrificed themselves and they never chose themselves. So I'm glad that you're 19. I'm glad that you called in, and I'm glad that you have made that decision at 19, because I wish I would have made that decision at 19. So I'm glad that you came to that realization that, I'm going to choose myself. I'm going to choose what's best for me at 19. Let's see.
Thank you again. And also, I just really love your podcast. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, Ashley, you're up next, sweetie. What would you like to add to the conversation?
Hi, Yoni. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So I've been watching your channel for a while. Just firstly want to say I respect you a lot. I feel like my thought process is very similar to yours, but I just wanted to put out there that I do definitely think that putting yourself first makes a huge difference in how you view everything. Like, a lot of our conversations as Black women do surround around men and what they can do for us, and we divert so much of our attention from ourselves to where we're preventing our own growth. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, it took me a while to realize that. I'm 27 now. So, but I'm still learning. But there's a certain grounding and peace that comes with that, to where you're not so focused on what a man can do for you. And when you're just kind of comfortable in your skin and comfortable with who you are, and you feel like you're going after your dreams and your purpose in life, you're not diverting so much of your attention to someone else. And I just see it a lot on social media in general with our conversation as Black women. I'm like, why are we always like inserting ourselves in conversations that don't have anything to do with us, and putting a lot of energy towards other things that, it won't make a difference after we say our piece anyway. We may as well just kind of hold our energy for ourselves and just grow. So just kind of spinning off your previous conversation, a lot of people do need to kind of, I would say, just get comfortable with being alone and figuring out what's going to work for you. And then when you're ready to be with someone, you'll be able to like better, I guess, vet people and figure out who's for you and who's not, instead of wasting your time.
I agree, girl. I agree. Thank you so much, because again, I wish I knew it. I knew at 27 now. So I'm glad that you guys are catching on way sooner. And I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you're choosing yourself and you're choosing your peace. That is so important, because men think that it's hatred. It's you choosing your peace. It's you choosing to take care of yourself and look out for yourself. And if anything, if men have a problem with that, well, we took a page out of their book. They have no problem with focusing on themselves, working on themselves, and doing what's best for them. And we're just doing the same. We're matching energy. We're mirroring what they do. And it's just, it is what it is. And they're upset about it.
Yep. And I have actually 2 older brothers, and I've seen them date, women that don't look like me, which I've had a problem with, but, they're living their own path, and I try not to judge or have a problem with it. I'll accept whoever they love, You like it, I love it, whatever. But I think we just need to not try and choose a certain thing to praise more than ourselves.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want Black women, put yourself first. No one comes before you. Now, if you have children, that even comes with boundaries. But for the most part, you should be putting yourself first before anybody. Like, that's ridiculous. You come first.
Yeah, sometimes it just seems like people go and choose like one extreme or the next, like going from divesting the Black men to I only date white men. And I think just date who loves you and who you feel comfortable with. It doesn't have to be an either or situation. Just love who you love.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Jess, hello. How are you doing?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh man, I've been waiting to get on and now I'm in the store.
Well, I'm sorry. If you would, do you want me to come back or do you want me
Yeah,
to?
can you come back to me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Tiffany, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
What would you like to add to the conversation today?
First I wanted to say that I found you from Cynthia G, so I thought it was funny that you guys were bringing her up because I literally found your live coming from one of her videos that I just got off of on YouTube.
Yes, well, we are a big supporter of Cynthia G over here.
Yeah, me too. And now I'm supporting y'all too because I like her and I like y'all conversation.
Thank
So,
you.
like,
Thank you.
And so far, I thought it was interesting that we just had a 19-year-old because I'm 20 and I go to Hampton U and I'm studying political science and I find myself arguing with people, male of our of my color all the time because I have a mixed boyfriend. He's mixed Black and white, and now all of a sudden all the Black males that were hating on me, calling me weird, like a weird smart Black girl, all of a sudden they're hitting me up and all that stuff, and I'm like mad at me, angry, lashing out, and I'm like, but you guys wanted the red bones, the light skinned girls, the white girls, the snow bunnies, and then all of a sudden you see me doing well, better than them. They got 2 different baby dads coming out of high school, and I'm sitting here about to get an internship probably in DC.
Girl, you better tell them.
So it's like, it's one of those situations where I'm just sitting here like, wow, like look how those tables turn. And then you want me to feel bad for the men that choose to go out and do other things and then come back. Like, that is just crazy to me. Like, no, you can stay over there and beg them for help. Ask them, oh, what can I do? And all that beg and plead and do all this. Ask them. And it's just like hard here because there's a lot of like gun violence and different things going on in our community that needs to be dissected, but no one wants to listen. So I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm coming here as the youth, begging and pleading, seeing my classmates die, but they still want to stir off instead of coming together.
And sis, you're 20?
Yes.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
It's just like, I'm sitting here like, what in the world? Like, these are people that think I should lower myself to them. They're not even driving around in the car. I just bought my own Dodge Charger cash with my own money that I've been working for since I was 14 years old. And you think I'm going to lower myself for a man who got to take the bus to Bojangles?
Girl.
That is insane to me.
I'm sorry, but it's just so true.
It's ridiculous. And then gonna talk about my boyfriend when he's a whole barber. He owns 2 different locations where we live.
Girl, so
I'm like, I was like, don't talk about me and my boyfriend when we just went to St. Thomas for our anniversary.
Ooh.
So I've been hustling all my life, and I had to let it go. I separated myself from Black men for about 1.5 years after I was sexually assaulted by a Black man. That was my last straw. And like when I try to explain that, and I'm like, y'all, I was never protected by Black men. Never. Never protected by Black men. A Black man was my assault. He assaulted me, and I put him in jail where he should be, and he'll rot in there.
Well, I'm glad you were able to. I'm glad you were able to receive some type of justice behind your sexual assault because many of us don't even get that.
Yeah, I mean, I know, and it got to the point that I really had to just do it alone. There was days that I was crying, all this stuff. No one was there, where was the Black man then? When it comes to simple things in the community, you won't even support Black women, but when it go national, you want all the support though. No, I'm done with that.
Wait a minute, because Breonna Taylor, they said she should have chose somebody better.
Right. Like she laying in the bed, you gonna tell her that she should have chose somebody better in her house? I know you lying.
Yeah,
that's just crazy to me. Like I'm just sitting here wondering, like, what am I supposed to do? Because there's not a whole bunch of youth. Well, there is a lot of youth that think like me, but we're not all together in community. It's hard to bring everybody together, and it's just like I'm stuck in a crab basket, as they say. Like, because I'm just sitting here like, wow, like I really, really, really want to come together. And it's like hard when I look up and I see our older generations fussing like they're in middle school. I'm like, no, I'm done with that. I am done with that. It's time for everyone to tighten up. They're already laughing and joking on us. Let's show them what we really got.
Right. And Black women, you have to understand that you control the community. You control it in so many ways. You gatekeep the community, you gatekeep the culture. So you get to decide how things go. And if we don't speak out, if we don't get out here and start marching and protesting for Christian, that sends a very loud message to people that really feel like we have nothing to offer. We do nothing. The black woman is so hard to get along with. She's so hard to deal with and things like that. So if that's true, then we will sit this one out and we will allow you guys to do what you guys need to do for Christian. And we just won't sit here on our ass and not do nothing, because
since we so ghetto, since we're so ratchet, right? Like we just need to sit down, right? Because that's all we good for, right? We only good for carrying babies and all that other jibber jabber of the 1960s that y'all still spewing, and it's 2022. I got more money than half the people in my just downing me. How you gonna tell me something? I'm just sitting here like y'all got to. It's just I am trying so hard, but it's just like I don't know who I'm preaching to at this point.
I do have a question though, Tiffany. You said that you went through a sexual assault situation.
Yes.
What would you tell other Black women that went through something like that, similar to what you went through?
Get his ass. Get his ass. I'm not playing. I've gone through about 3 to 4 years of therapy because it happened to me when I was 17. And it took me 2-3 years to get it prosecuted on stuff. And that within itself was a journey, working with, the victims advocate and things like that in the local, and going to the YWCA. I went through their program, went to their sexual advocate program for women there. And I basically got a grip and dealt with it and just put them back in jail and prayed and kept it moving.
Okay. And so how did you find out about the outsource program?
When I was through like the Commonwealth, like in Virginia, like that's where I stay in Virginia. Like I reached out to them, and then they put me on through resources that were free, because actually I didn't know this beforehand, but the YWCA here offers like 10 classes, like 10 therapy sessions for free if you're a sexual abuse victim.
Oh, girl, I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that until, of course, I found out on unseen circumstances, but right. I found that out. And it was actually crazy because I got to pick my therapist, and she was a Black woman, and she's the one who got me as passionate as I am about it. Cause like now I don't look back on that and think bad things. I think, wow, I was really strong. I did this thing, and now it's time to move on to the next thing of what I can conquer.
Okay. But how was therapy for you though? Like, how were you able to work through it with therapy? Because some women don't know how.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you straight up, it's different for everyone. And I had to go through like 5 therapists. This gets to the nitty gritty. There's people out here that just want money, and that's just what it is. So you have to find, and this is when you really find yourself. When you find the therapist that best suits you, I promise you're going to find yourself in that room.
Right.
Because when you sitting there looking at somebody that look just like you and they sitting here hurting off of what happened to you, it's going to change your whole mindset.
I agree. And I'm glad that you also brought up that when it comes to some therapists, it is just a money grab.
Yes, it is.
So what was one sign when you got into this therapist's office? What was one sign that you noticed about your therapist where you were like, okay, I feel like this is the one?
She actually listened and she looked up my story because it had went a little like viral around here.
Mm-hmm.
And she came back and she knew everything about me before I told her. And that's when I knew.
Oh my God. That is so, oh my God. That is so sweet.
That's when I knew.
That's when you knew.
That's when I knew. I came back and I was like, wow, she really looked up my story.
So she cared. She actually cared.
I knew she cared. And it was just a breakthrough for me. And I was like, after that, I'm done. I'm not messing with no fool. I'm not messing with nobody that's going to bring me down. And that's why even now my boyfriend supports me not supporting Christian, because he sees he's like, no, don't support anybody that will down you as much as you've conquered in your life.
Right.
Don't do that. Do not do that. Like that would be lowering yourself, and then you're just as bad as the ones that you don't want to be at that point.
I agree. Well, thank you, Tiffany, for calling in, girl. Thank you for being
so much.
Thank you for being an inspiration to the listeners, and hopefully you'll come back. I enjoyed speaking with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, Jess. How are you?
Hey, Yoni. How are you?
Good. What would you like to add to the conversation?
So first, my question is, what does this movement really consist of beyond divestment and self-love?
Honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with you. The Black community has not grown in decades. We are still stuck. And when I came to this conclusion, divestment just made sense. You should not just start with men. You shouldn't just start because you dated some men out here, they happen to be Black and they just weren't it. I feel like you should really truly get serious about divesting because it's essential to your growth as a woman. It really has nothing to do with all of these external things. You grew up in a community that really hasn't changed in years. And you'll see if you talk to some older people, they're singing the same old song that they've been singing. And it's just like, well, now you're going to be next. Get in line and start singing that same old song. And then you're going to pass that same old song down to your daughter or your children. And it's just going to be a continuation of a song being sung and there's no growth. So when I promote divesting to promote growth, self-growth, though. It's not you feeling like that you have to go up against your community or anything like that. It's truly about the betterment of yourself, your future, things that you want to accomplish. You can't even really trust, if you wanted to go get your credit repaired, you probably would have to outsource out of the Black community just to get your credit repaired, and it shouldn't be that. So why is it that as a Black person, when it comes to success, it doesn't even matter if you're male or female, there's always this outsourcing to be successful? So it's just best that you come to the realization that divesting from anything, anyone, any place, family members included, that don't have your highest good in mind.
So do you feel like, because like one thing I think you mentioned earlier that I completely agree with, like when they say the Black community, you have to always defend the Black community. And we're really seeing that the Black community is Black men. So when has there really been a movement specifically just for Black women? And can we make a movement to where that's where our goals is? Like if we're that influential, we are the most educated, we are the most, we make the most money for women or whatever. Like why aren't we putting together movements to pass laws to protect ourselves, to, organize? Because I feel like when Black women specifically have a movement that is organized and makes sense, we get behind it. I know this is not on the same level, but like I feel like when there was a movement to go natural, Black women were behind it. When there was a movement just for George Floyd or whatever, like Black women get behind it. So if we're making more productive movements beyond divestment, because I feel like, honestly, like I'm in a relationship that I'm happy in, but like I feel like collectively, Black women should not be dating right now. Like we're not ready. Clearly, like we're just trying to get self-love. And honestly, if I wasn't in this relationship that I'm in right now, like I really wouldn't even be dating no more. You know what I'm saying? Like had I had this when I was younger, I'm 27 now. If I had, you know, platforms like you and saying like I wouldn't even be dating. But I'm already in one now, right? I'm not gonna stop dating my Black man now. But if this one ended, like I wouldn't date because it's just we're not ready, clearly. So I feel like if we divest, we need to divest from men for at least for right now, not forever, maybe for a year or two,
So you're
whatever.
saying for
So we
men.
can.
You're saying divest from men.
Period.
And you know
Because
what?
we're not ready for that. We're not ready.
What? I agree with you on that. Yeah. I do. Because think about it. We need to heal. We can't hop from one man and then hop to another and think, okay, I'm ready. Everything's good. Like, let's go. Like, you know,
and you know that to be true because even with divestment, we're having to constantly remind women, even though you divest, like this is not going to be the guy. Like you're still going to have to do it. So we don't even know how to vet. Like channels like you and standing other people are just teaching women how to vet. Like we don't have it. We shouldn't be dating, to be real. Right. I feel like if you're in a relationship right now, okay, do what you got to do. If it's toxic, get out. But like if you're not in a relationship, like just hold off on dating, organize you and your girls, and you know, collectively us as Black women need to get in line. I feel like we should look at the women's rights movement. Like, of course, that was strictly for white women, but we can model that and do that for ourselves. I feel like since we are the most educated, we are the most influential. Like, we could definitely get laws and stuff and things to work in our behalf. I feel like when you try to make the whole community with Black men as flawed as they are right now, like we're not going to get anything. But if you separate yourself politically as Black women, like we will be good. I think we can make a lot of changes. So and my last thing,
I have a question. So how do you feel like outside of not dating men at all, focusing on ourselves and healing and doing what we need to do for ourselves, what are some other things that you feel like we should be reaching for? Because I feel like this is just the beginning, honestly. This is just the beginning. I don't even think that we have reached our peak yet with this. Right. And so what do you like, where do you feel like we should be headed as far as collectively?
So I guess I'll kind of answer that with a question first, right? My question is, why don't Black women feel the same attachment to Black women as they do to Black men? Because aren't we birthing Black women? Like, why don't we feel that same connection? Is it because our attachment to men? Because you know you have side chicks out here, you have bitter baby mamas, things like that. So again, if we divest from men and we heal ourselves women to women, then we can move forward, like period. Because we don't, like, I keep hearing, even when we was talking about that one lady who took her baby daddy off of child support, like, I worship a Black man because I birthed a Black man. But aren't you birthing Black women? Like, where's your saying? I don't understand that. And it's like, are you more focused on Black men because they didn't have their fathers? Well, you're their mother, like, because you have your Black fathers to protect the Black son, but we're not protecting our Black daughters. Like, I don't understand. It's like a disconnect between women. I think it's because we hurt each other. We're all fighting for the same man, and that, again, we need to divest from men for a little while, not forever, but for now. Like, we got to get the basics first.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. And that's so true. Why do we praise men, but we don't praise our daughters? And we see how that affects their self-esteem. And then we praise these men so much to the point where they create this narcissistic personality disorder. And that's where it really stems from. We praise these men, that we create these personality, narcissistic disorder behaviors in men. And then our daughters have low self-esteem and they become these empathic, and then they have to deal with these energy vampires. It's like a repeated cycle. And so it's like, we created the dysfunctional community. We definitely had a hand in it as Black women. But it's like, at what point are we going to be like, okay, enough is enough. We're going to do something different.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, Black women, we run the culture, period. Because if we don't support Black artists or whatever, like, it's not happening. So if we're continuing to support the dysfunction and all these other things. Like, I mean, come on. It's time to, I just feel like it's time for us to take our power back. And that first step is just, you know, self-love, focusing on ourselves, and really passing laws for ourselves. Like, we do have that type of monopoly. I feel like when you say Black community, subconsciously it means Black men, and we're not going to get anything passed for Black men right now because they're not in a place where they deserve it, honestly.
I said this on my Instagram, and I'm gonna say it again. The reason why Black women do not want to focus on themselves is because they have to face their own demons. They can no longer blame men. They can't blame their parents. They can't blame their friends. They can't blame how this happened, this happened, this happened. They don't want to face their own demons. And it takes a lot of strength to face your own demons. And it's something that we as Black women need to do. Like, it's just the truth. We have to face ourselves. And when you face yourselves, you have a shadow side, you have a light side. Everyone has it. So it's not that you should feel some type of way about the shadow side that you have. It is what it is. But face it, though. Be a woman about yours. And if you are a woman about yours, you wouldn't fear your shadow.
Right.
You wouldn't.
Yeah, definitely.
Was there anything else that you wanted to add to the conversation, Jess?
I guess, like, I'm kind of with everybody else as far as this guy who was murdered by his white girlfriend or whatever. Like, I equally don't feel sorry for him. I feel like, you know, no one deserves to die that way. But I mean, you kind of you brought down yourself. Like, how many times do you have to hear about white women doing malicious things to you before you realize that? Like,
I mean, historically speaking, you know, but I mean, who's surprised? I don't know.
Do you feel like Black women can come together and like work on passing laws for ourselves, like advocating for ourselves, being known as our own political group? Like, do you see that happening? Because I see that, you know, for example, everybody's talking about Cynthia G, and her movement right now, right, is to stop having or stop birthing Black men. And I see there's women who are considering it. I think what she's saying is, I think it has a lot of aids. I agree with it a lot. Will I do that? I don't know. But I know that something that we all can get aboard behind is to do that, like to make some laws for ourselves, protect ourselves,
right,
put unions and everything else together. So do you feel like there's like other influencers or, you know, other resources that we can put together to do that?
I think we will get to that level, but I just don't think we're there yet, because there's definitely a divide that happened, especially with this Christian situation. But I don't think it was big enough for it to really be for us to go basically create our own community. That's basically what you're saying, is you want Black women to no longer include Black men at all. You want us to separate ourselves completely, and we basically will work and create laws for ourselves and not try to make it a Black community thing. Is that correct?
Yes.
I think we can get to that point, but we still have some women that, you know, just like that Black woman that I put on my platform the other day about the child support. She's saying she worships Black men because she had a Black son. We still have women like that among us. I think.
But do we need them though? Do we need them though, or do we need? Because like, you have thousands of subscribers. Sinji, other like Black women on here have huge followings who, for the most part, agree. So do we really need the mammies? Like, they gonna be mammies. Like, they just gonna do that to the day they die. Like, unless something happens, right? Or unless it becomes popular. So do we really need them, or do we only need a few thousand to kind of lead the pack? Because like I said, once we have an organized movement, I feel like women get aboard.
I think so too. I think we can achieve it. I think so. I mean, with the Tina Knowles situation, that spoke loud, you know, and you know, it's just, I feel like just a little more time, but that can definitely be a goal of ours very soon. Very soon. Very, very soon. And we gotta start focusing on more important things, because the Crown Act was a good one. It was a good one, but like, we got to start putting some protection orders in place.
Most definitely.
Because I mean, the Crown Act is all well and dandy, but it's like, well, if we're not here to actually take advantage of the Crown Act, you know, it's kind of like, well, what the hell? But if we were able to put some protection orders in place, we're waiting on Joe Biden to do that, and he didn't even pass that bill. He passed some other type of bill. I think it was like a drug kit or something like that.
And that's what I'm
So,
saying, because it's like, I mean, what are Black women coming up to the politicians for and saying that we want this specifically for us? Like, when in history have we heard that? Because they are doing things for Black women, right? Because that's that's what these Black men keep saying. Oh, you know, welfare and these grants. I mean, they're doing something, right? We're just kind of just like, well, we don't need it. We're independent. But if we stop saying we're independent, we don't need it, and actually start asking for what we want, like, I think we can get it.
You know what? I'm gonna have to look into some things. You definitely brought something to the forefront.
Thank you. Well, you know what?
The only thing that I'm gonna say is it's hard. It's definitely hard. I don't know who this person is, but I'm about to block you because you're getting on my nerves. I don't even know. Because you're being disrespectful. Is it Matoya? I don't know. I'm blocking you. Okay. So like I was saying, the only issue is that I'm just gonna keep it real with you. As a Black YouTuber, a Black woman creator within the Black women's empowering space, it's hard to come together with other Black women to create, you know, these movements or to try to get a law in place and something like that, simply because a lot of times people want to put us against one another.
Yeah.
And so I don't even like showing that I affiliate with certain people in the space, because I don't want people to be like, okay, we can target these two and somehow pin them against each other. So I kind of just stay off their platform. I used to be active on Cynthia G's platform a lot because I really supported her message since the very beginning. There were some other content creators that I'm not going to mention that I support their content, everything like that. But every time I show my face over there or show up over there, if this particular supporter doesn't like me and they don't like how I'm interacting with their favorite supporter, then they want to put us against each other. And so when it comes to the support, it has to be a no face type of situation. But then it's hard to bring people together collectively because of that. So I don't know. It's going to be something that we would have to work on behind the scenes and then present it on our platform separately. I think that could be a solution, but I'm going to have some off record conversations to see what we can do about that, because that is interesting. I think that's something that we should aim for. I mean, what's the point of us doing this?
Right. That's my thing. Like, if you want to divest, cool. Like, I think that's good. But it's like, what is next? Because if the only problem we had in this world was who we lay down with, we would have been did that. So there's way more, you know, to that. So that's it for me, though. I really appreciate you taking my call. I love your platform. I just love how you promote self-love. You talk about your experiences. I just think what you're doing is beautiful. So keep going.
Thank you.
I love you.
You enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, you guys, Jess was my last caller because my camera died, y'all. But I enjoyed hearing from you guys. You know, I like to hear people's perspective. I don't get defensive. I know a lot of y'all want me to get defensive, but I'm very open-minded. I'm very open to hearing other people's perspectives and things like that. I don't feel like I have to chime in and think that I'm right and I'm the only opinion that matters just because I have this platform. I actually am very open, and I'm very open to hearing other people and their opinions, their perspectives, their points, their talking points, and things like that. I don't have to be defensive just because this is my platform, you guys. I don't have to agree with everything 100%. As long as you're being respectful, we don't have to agree on everything. It's going to be okay. Okay. It's called emotional intelligence. And I actually promote that on this platform, that I don't have to get defensive just because someone is saying something that I don't agree with. So as Black people, I encourage you to have some emotional intelligence, that if someone says something to you that you don't like or you don't agree with, you don't have to get mad. You don't have to get upset. It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Everything is going to go just according to God's plan at the end of the day. So on that note, earlier I said something in this live about Black women don't want to face their own demons. yes, Black women, we have our own demons. We do. And some of it is low self-esteem. Some of it is we are codependent on these men in an unhealthy, toxic way. Some of it is food. Some of it is we don't have self-love. We have our own demons. It's just, it is what it is. And I'm real enough to say that. I recently went through something not too long ago where I had to face my own demons. I was out here drinking, and I was out here not wanting to be alone. I didn't want to face myself. So I had a sneaky link, and I knew I needed to get rid of the sneaky link because the sneaky link wasn't really helping me. You know, it's like, listen, Black women, we have our own demons. It's okay. And I'm real enough to say that. But we also have the power to do something about it. If you have addictions like food, if you have addictions like alcohol, if you have addictions like sneaky links, or you have this weird codependency attachment that you have with people, it could even be with your girlfriends and things like that, you have to face your demon. And you know, when you face your demon, it's not easy. It's not easy at all, but you got to do it. Why? Because you want to change your life. You want better for yourself. You want to get to a position to where you don't have to depend on others emotionally to feel something good about yourself. You should have self-love within yourself to where you understand that, okay, I can face my demons. I can work through this because I love myself. And when you get to that level of self-love, you won't be afraid to face anything, any type of addictions you may have or demons that you may have within yourself, like jealousy or envy. You know, you looking at the next girl, you're on Instagram and you seeing how, oh, she's in this relationship. I want to be in a relationship. Oh, why does she always get whatever everything that she wants? And I'm over here and it's not happening for me. You got to face that demon. Why don't you feel like it won't be you? Like, why don't you feel like that won't be you one day, or it won't happen for you? It will, but you got to believe it will. Why don't you feel like you deserve to be happy, at peace, and in a relationship? You have to believe that. But it starts with facing your demon of why you don't feel like you're worthy or deserving of a lifestyle like that. So that's all that I have regarding this video. If you could give this video a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. And I'm going to be coming back. I'm like, should I come back later? Let me show y'all this video that one of y'all sent me. Hold on. One of y'all sent me this video. Now, I think it was Trend Central. What was his name? That little man with the ponytail. Let me not be disrespectful. That man with the ponytail. I know y'all saw that video. He made a video and I wanted to react to it with you guys because he was talking about how when he made that video, he didn't intend for us to see it. It wasn't something that was supposed to be put out here on a public platform, which I find to be interesting. And so he was trying to explain it. Let me see if I can find it, because if I can, I'm going to pull it up for y'all. Because I'm going to just show y'all. Oh, wait. Here it is. Let me bring it up. Just give me a sec, y'all. Okay, so yeah, he made a response video saying that Trend Central exploited his trauma, which I find to be interesting because I'm like, excuse me? This video right here. Okay. Is it showing? Okay. So he made a video responding to the clip that you guys saw. Now, if you guys didn't see the full live stream, the full live stream of me reacting to both parts of I forgot what the titles are, but I reacted to both parts that he was featured in on Trend Central, and then he made a response saying that his trauma was exploited and there were no consent forms that were signed. So I definitely want to react to this video, you guys. If you want the full live stream of me doing a reaction to episode 1, part 1 and part 2. It is on my Patreon. But I do want to react to this because I found this video to be very odd and very strange. And I want to teach you guys how men try to manipulate you, because he is definitely trying to manipulate the public. I mean, you know, this is what I find to be interesting. I'm going to just go ahead and say it now. If we were introduced to a man that is a manipulator, what makes you think that the public is now all of a sudden going to believe him and take sides and things like that? It actually doesn't make any sense. So I wanted to react to this video so that you guys can see some of the game that these men try to run by manipulating you, by trying to win you over with sympathy and things like that. But he actually tells on himself in this video. So let me know if you guys want me to come back. I will come back and do a reaction. Just give this video a thumbs up and I will know to do so. And I will see you guys either tomorrow or later today. Just let me know. Okay? You guys enjoy the rest of your day and I will see you soon.